The following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
Perfect football weather in the Queen City of Charlotte to crown the kings of the ACC and punch a ticket to the college football playoff. Welcome to the 2017 Dr. Pepper ACC football championship game between the 7th-ranked Miami Hurricanes and the top-ranked Clemson Tigers, part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week. Now, the Clemson faithful believe that the brighter the lights, the bigger the stage, the better their Tigers will play. But fans of the resilient, hungry Hurricanes have traveled north in big numbers. Miami a step away from its first conference title in 14 years. And welcome, Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. We are so pleased that you've chosen to cap this championship Saturday right here with us. Already today, Kirk, we've seen Oklahoma rout TCU for the second time in a month. The Sooners, an imposing performance to punch their ticket. Georgia rolled through Auburn. They'll jump into the top four. Your takeaway from those first two games?
First of all, Oklahoma, how good is that offense led by Baker Mayfield? And we wondered how Georgia and Auburn would be second time around, and the way they came out on a neutral field just dominated the football game. I really think there's a great chance these two teams could end up matching up out in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl to see what happens.
And for Clemson, the mission is clear. Win, top seed, head to the Superdome for their semifinal on New Year's night. Any doubt in your mind that if Miami wins, they don't jump from 7 into the playoff?
It's just my opinion. It's very subjective. Everybody has an opinion. I think the winner of this game is in, whether it's Miami or Clemson, which means there's a lot at stake for both teams, not just the Tigers.
Miami, a double-digit underdog. You can feel that energy on the field from them. Clemson, meanwhile, old hat these postseason games. Deshaun Watson, Kirk, we watched the last couple of years. He just took the Tigers' offense on his back and carried them. Look at those total touchdowns in the postseason. Now, Kelly Bryant doesn't have to match those numbers or bring the fire that Deshaun did. What does he have to do, though, tonight?
Just beat Kelly Bryant. Remember in spring ball, that's what Dabo Swinney told him. Quit trying to beat Deshaun Watson. Beat Kelly Bryant. And Kelly Bryant fits into this offense. It's different. It's a lot more quarterback run. And they look at the numbers. When it's an advantage quarterback run, 8 here against 7, you're going to take it. And he's very effective. He'll have to do that tonight against his very athletic Miami defense. RPOs, run-pass option. He sees soft coverage. He's going to get the ball out to his receivers, especially Hunter Renfrow. Let them pick up 5 yards, 8 yards, or in this case, a huge play. And look for a little wrinkle. T. Higgins, usually an X, into the boundary. With his size at 6'4", they've moved him into the slot to get him the ball downfield a little bit more. And this is interesting. You look at Kelly Bryant. You compare what he did with Deshaun Watson. 89% of his passes are thrown to the perimeter, to the left and to the right. So if you're Manny Diaz, defensive coordinator for Miami, you got to come in with a very confident secondary and you say, hey guys, let's make him uncomfortable. Let's make him throw into the teeth of our defense. We can't give him these easy throws. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, Cane's #1 defense in tackles for loss. They've won the turnover battle 9 games in a row. And that now famous turnover chain has been out 29 times this season.
It's been fun to watch, and you and I had the Virginia Tech and the Notre Dame game. Could have been 2 of their best games. They played with such energy, and I really think tonight it's going to take that kind of effort, that kind of energy. You made a great point. On the field, you and I are fortunate enough to get down there before we came up, and you could just feel that passion and that chip on their shoulder. They've got to play like that for 60 minutes.
And Jaquan Johnson, who's the leaderboard in the turnover chain, a takeaway in 6 games in a row. He is a big part of that. This Canes defense is so motivated because they know their offense is shorthanded tonight. Christopher Herndon, their fine tight end, he's a great blocker and pass catcher. He ripped up his knee against Pitt in their loss. And Amon Richards, their fastest wide receiver, ripped up his knee on the practice field. So it's going to have to be a creative play calling from Mark Ricks.
And Malik Rozier, the quarterback, coming off not such a great game. He needs to get off to a fast start.
There is a terrific buzz here in Charlotte, the biggest ever for an ACC championship game. The Tigers and the Hurricanes coming up soon.
The Nissan pregame rush with Kevin Nagandi, Mac Brown, and Booger McFarland is next after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
All right, thank you. Braxton Berrios, Miami's fine slot receiver, grew up here in North Carolina, but it's always been all about the U. A lifelong Miami fan, one of the top scholar athletes in America, must step up in a big way tonight for an offense that's been hit hard by injuries. Speaking of hitting hard, Cleveland Farrell and that Tigers defense wants to take a long night for Miami's O. Part of a fearsome front four, a Tigers team that's compiled 40 sacks. The defending champs against the underdog Hurricanes. This has been the Nissan pregame rush. Kickoff from Charlotte is coming up next, but now a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
This is Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
There are signature moments in everyone's life. They reveal who we really are and shape who we become. So tonight we ask, who are you? We see a leader who remodels, not rebuilds. A defensive hammer, a boom, a relentless battering of opponents' will. And we wonder, is this the start of a new dynasty or the end of a remarkable run?
Tigers stretch the lead.
We see evolution and something to believe in. The speed, the athleticism, and the customary swagger. And we wonder, are you the you? Or merely a reflection of the past? Resurgent, but not yet returned.
Touchdown, Miami! Give that man the turnover chain.
Tonight, show us who you are, or lose, and let others define you. This is the moment for a revelation. So, who are you?
53 degrees, a beautiful evening here in Charlotte. Tigers and the Hurricanes about to get it on. Maria Taylor's with the newly named ACC Coach of the Year, Mark Ricks.
All right, Coach, you've led your team to their first trip to an ACC championship, and now you're 60 minutes away from the title. What was the last message you wanted your team to hear before taking the field?
Just play hard. Just, they got us here. We might as well win since we got here, We didn't come this far just to get this far. I know Clemson feels the same way.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Now let's go over to Clemson sideline with Tom Rinaldi.
Maria, thank you very much. Dabo, I know you take nothing for granted, but you got this team back in this championship. How do you best use that experience tonight?
Well, I think both teams just have to use the experience we've had all year. We've both been in big games all year. We got to just take it one play at a time. It's championship football, but it's a blessing to be here. Really proud of this team.
Enjoy it. I know you will.
We will. Thank you.
Chris?
All right, Tom Dabo off his 100th victory at Clemson, one of the fastest in FBS history to get there. Miami won the toss and deferred, so Clemson will get the football first, and Michael Badgley, the kicker, the only all-ACC first-teamer on this Coastal Division champion team. That has raised some eyebrows, further motivation for Miami. Travis Etienne, the speedy true freshman, back deep for the Tigers. Here we go. It's a short kick. Etienne from the 9. Blazing freshman able to create some space. And Kelly Bryant and the Tigers offense, Kirk, start from the 33.
Oh, Kelly Bryant's been a great fit this year. Does it differently as we talked about in the open. Look at his size, 6'4", 220 pounds. Third year in the system. The last 2 years he backed up Deshaun. Number one, protect the football. They've done such a good job of that all year. He's got to be a factor tonight in the ability to run the football. And then when he gets matchups on the outside, and he's going to get them, because they're going to see a lot of man-to-man, he's got to throw accurate balls downfield to give his receivers a chance.
Bryant 12-1 as a starting quarterback. Two-back look with Ray McLeod and Tavian Feaster, who now motions to the edge. Bryant, screen. Renfro, the reliable slot receiver, picks up about 4. Here's tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
But when you look for impact players and you're looking at this Clemson offense, there are a lot of them. We'll talk about the running backs. Etienne, number 9. Hunter Renfro have his hands on the ball. R.J. McIntosh in the inside's got to play well for Miami. And Jaquan Johnson, the safety.
Off the play action, Bryant keeps it, but the Canes are right there to wrap him up. Number 99, Joe Jackson off the edge.
A big part of defending this offense is keeping the edge. Great job right here, and you also see the speed of the Miami defense. Both defensive ends do a nice job. Chad Thomas right there keeping the edge. And how about Joe Jackson from the backside? How quickly he's there to help out.
Miami crowd making some noise. If you didn't think that the Hurricanes fans travel, you were wrong. You need 6 on 3rd down. Canes bail out. Bryant has time and delivers a strike to Renfro. Such a clutch weapon on 3rd down. Move the sticks to midfield.
Yeah, they're going to go fast here after a 1st down. What an exceptional job by Kelly Bryant. First chance at 3rd and medium. How's he going to do? Manny Diaz was convinced we've got to mix up the looks, try to confuse this quarterback. And the first time they show blitz and back out, and he's able to, his receivers there are able to just sit in that soft spot in the zone.
That's Trajan Bandy, the true freshman, Kirk, the nickelback, who was down on the field after that play. Here's the completion to Renfro.
Renfro is just going to sit here. They're showed a lot of pressure, and then they fall out of it. They'll twist here, but watch how he just sits down right there. It seems easy, but after all this preparation, easy throw. He actually, because of the rhythm, he gets the ball out before Hunter Renfro even comes out of that break, and get used to that. On 3rd down, that's who he's going to look up. Hunter Renfro has been so effective all year for him.
Looks like Bandy might have been hit by one of his teammates on the tackle of Renfro. He's the guy that had that electric pick 6 in the win over Notre Dame at home, and he's the guy that's called on often because of his skill set to cover the slot receiver.
Absolutely. For a young player, he brings a lot of energy in when they go to that 5th defensive back.
He's a guy that Clemson offered a scholarship to, and the Tigers were one of his 5 final schools, but he stayed at home in Miami. Looks like he's kind of testing that leg.
See how much weight he can put on it.
I think it was friendly fire. He was
he came in to try to make a play after Renfro went down, and looked like he maybe ran into Zach McLeod, who was trying to help out as well.
Talked about the injury troubles for the Miami offense. Defense relatively healthy. They are missing Demetrius Jackson, one of their top pass rushers, but they're pretty deep at that position. This would be a concerning injury for Rick if Bandy can't come back full strength.
Something to keep in mind with the injury. It slowed Clemson down, but because of what they got up after the 1st down and they were right at the ball, they are going to crank their tempo to try to get this athletic Miami defense that Manny Diaz is trying to get ready tonight, get them on their heels. So they're going to definitely try to test the discipline and the eye discipline of Miami.
Jet sweep motion. Hand off to Ray McLeod, and he's shoved down after a 1-yard gain. Clemson so intent on getting to the perimeter with the run game.
Yeah, that's their game. I mean, they stretch you horizontally and vertically, and then they mix in quarterback run, and of course with their talented backs and Feaster and Etienne. It gives you a lot to deal with the way this offense takes advantage of the entire field.
Saw Jeff Scott, co-offensive coordinator with Tony Elliott. Bryant looks left and delivers a strike. It's a short gain. Deion Kane making a catch in his 36th consecutive game. It'll be 3rd and short.
Nick Saban was on game day this morning. He was talking about defending Auburn's offense. And Auburn's offense and the Clemson offense are from the same family tree. And he said they had 232 pages of formations and personnel groupings. He said it really forces you to simplify. Otherwise, you're thinking too much. You just have to play fast.
On 3rd and 2. Again, that jet sweep motion. Again, they hand it off to Ray McLeod. Long way to run, but he does pick up the 1st down before Derek Smith, a backup safety, forced him out.
Yeah, it's a good effort here by Redwine, but the block just enough right here by Feaster. Watch him lead the way. Redwine, the safety, comes up. He tries to keep his outside shoulder and hand free, but Feaster got just enough of him to affect him.
Play action, some pressure, back throw. Renfro, his 3rd catch already, and the Tigers are set up in the red zone.
And that's the other thing they do is they get you thinking about jet sweep. They get you thinking about the short, quick throws, and then your eyes start to get caught up in that backfield, and then they'll sneak somebody down the crease in the seam, and this time it's Hunter Renfro.
He gets 23 yards. And again, a quarterback keeper on 1st down. Kelly Bryant spins and twists down inside the 10.
How about this drive right now from Clemson? This Miami defense has had a week to prepare and look at Kelly Bryant, their strengths, their potential weaknesses. They've repped it. Nothing that they've been able to look at in practice has been able to simulate the speed and the execution of what they're seeing right now.
2nd and 2. Keeper again. Bryant bangs into traffic and is able to show that strength. And it'll be 1st and goal. This is strength on strength because the Tigers have an exceptional red zone offense. Great touchdown percentage. But the Canes are pretty stout down here themselves on D.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a reason that they've been able to get themselves to the ACC championship. 4th in the nation as far as allowing touchdowns down in this red zone. This is a different challenge tonight against Kelly Bryant and the ability to run the football with the quarterback.
First appearance for Travis Etienne, the blazing fast true freshman back. He's got it, barrels ahead. Touchdown, Tigers! Beautiful execution on the opening drive. 68 yards, and the champs on top quickly.
Well, that was a clinic from Kelly Bryant. Talk about being in command of an offense. Some runs, some throws, some reads, a lot of good decisions all the way down the field in that 10-play drive.
Bryant 4 for 4, ran it 3 times for 11 yards, and Travis Etienne says, let me get in this ball game. I'll just show you my power as well as the speed. Let's double check that he crossed the plane.
Yeah, he's in.
Ball in that left arm. Looks like he did break the plane before he went down. Yep.
Yeah.
So Etienne with his 13th rushing touchdown on just his 98th carry this season. That's a high percentage, folks.
It sure is. I think we're only getting a taste of what he's going to do in this offense in his career this year. They're so fortunate to have Tavian Feaster, Etienne, C.J. Fuller, and Adam Choice, the veterans in that backfield. Look at him. He's like, I'm playing in an NFL stadium, man. This is great.
After review, the ruling of a touchdown stands.
Yeah, he's become a celebrity, but he's just as grounded, just as humble a small-town kid as when he got to Clemson.
That's what I'm saying. He's a true freshman with big eyes and just appreciating every moment. It's rare to see 4 backs on one team and all push each other, but they're all unselfish, and it's a good chemistry within that group.
Alex Spence for the conversion. You're right, it's a totally different feel. Wayne Gallman was the workhorse running back for a few years here. Now they share the wealth. Number 9 finds the end zone first tonight.
Chris, we go back to this play where I think Miami kind of get their eyes in the backfield. Just right down the crease. What you need to watch are the 2 safeties. When they play action fake, you see the safeties kind of peek into the backfield. Right there, they kind of freeze. And that allows him to get behind, in between the 2 safeties in the back end. And that's something Miami's got to be careful of today. Is getting caught up looking at the quarterback and looking at the running backs and all the eye candy that they give you.
And Clemson, typical efficiency in the red zone. So Alex Spence to kick it away. Typically his kickoffs don't reach the end zone. Could be a chance for Jeff Thomas, the true freshman receiver and returner for Miami. And he'll take it at the 3. Thomas loses the ball, but it goes out of bounds. And now here comes Malik Rozier coming off that very tough game in the loss at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think it's important that Malik Rozier start fast. He's got to reestablish his confidence, which the coach has said he's had a great week coming off of a rough game where he was benched. Then I think he's got to create with his feet. It's got to be part of being able to scramble and being able to get away from people. And I think the most important thing that you and I saw in the Notre Dame and Virginia Tech game is he made quick decisions. He's got to be decisive tonight, whether he's running or throwing.
You said it. He's a laid-back personality who's often a slow starter. He's been that way his whole life, but he's got to change that. First down pitch, Travis Homer runs around the left side for 4. You like the fact that he's a chill guy and he's a clutch guy in the 4th quarter, but can he bring the urgency early, especially down 7 right away?
Well, and remember last week, Pitt crowded the line of scrimmage. They said, well, you're not going to run the football on us, and it gave Miami a ton of one-on-one opportunities downfield. They just weren't able to capitalize. They only ran for 45 yards last week, under 2 yards a carry, and when teams load up like that, you got to be able to throw, and he's missing open receivers downfield.
Second down plays become crucial because Miami is monumental struggles on 3rd down.
Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Tyrese St. Louis. You see big Christian Wilkins getting there, had a conversation with Rozier right there.
Yeah, he knows how important. Again, the way Miami's offense played last week, he knows that their own offense went down and scored. And now a little bit of movement from that very athletic Clemson D-line and made that Miami offensive line flinch. And Christian Wilkins reminded Rozier it's going to be a long night.
They're going to roll the pocket a lot. Rozier on 2nd 11 throws downfield to Thomas, who can't make the catch. It was underthrown. He was wide open before Kayvon Wallace came back to join him.
Yeah, there's just a mental error there from Wallace. With him rolling out, Wallace rolled with him. He rolls all the way out here as the quarterback rolls to his right. Watch how he moves out of position. Now that opens up the middle of the field. He was anticipating that Jeff Thomas would work to the outside, but instead he fakes outside, goes to the post. He's all alone, and Rozier misses him, puts the ball too much air underneath that football.
Remember that missed opportunity. Miami depends on those big chunk plays. And now on 3rd and 11, Rozier is a fine runner, steps up and kind of weaves his way right near the marker. The spot's going to be important. Christian Wilkins stopped him. Are they going to give him first in? Now they're going to move it back, and it's 4th down.
Well, that was an example of being decisive, getting out of there right away. And even though it was 3rd and long, he felt that he could pick it up by going out, and he came very close. At that time, makes a good decision. Comes up just a little bit short.
Cannot have mistakes like the false start penalty against a defense this good.
Wow.
Zach Fiegels coming off a rough game at Pittsburgh. He had some shanks that were important in that loss. He must play big tonight, the true freshman punter. Now another flag before the snap.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 33. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Fiegels, whose dad Jeff was an NFL punter for 22 years, continued to struggle a bit in warm-ups. Ray McLeod, the returner for Clemson, standing at his 30. Not a great punt. McLeod stumbled. He tried to make the fair catch. Ball on the ground. A muff on this punt and a scrum now. Who's got it at the bottom? Trent Harris, the defensive end, number 33. Comes away with it. Break out the turnover chain already. There is a flag down, however. We'll check the flag.
On the field, the ball was recovered by the kicking team. During the kick, holding number 30 receiving team. That penalty will be declined. The kicking team will keep the ball. 1st down.
It was a short punt. McLeod came up and tried to make a fair catch on the dive, but didn't handle it cleanly.
Yeah, the ball comes out. Miami capitalizes. And you'll see that Williams here, right in the middle, he just pulls a Miami player down. That's the flag. But Ray McLeod, who you and I have called a lot of Clemson games over the last couple of years, sometimes a risk taker, and that time it backfires.
The blocker got in the way of McLeod. This is exactly what Miami's offense needs. On 1st down, Rozier under pressure delivers a high throw over the head of Lawrence Cager. They're going to throw a lot of balls like that tonight.
Well, and Amon Richards is usually lined up in that position. Of course, the turnover chain. This time it goes to Harris, who's down there hustling to be able to come up with that.
He joins the party. It's his first time this year that the defensive end has had the chain.
And right there, he goes over his own teammate, stumbles down.
On 2nd down, Rozier flips it underneath. This is Cager, the big rangy sophomore from Maryland, and it's a 1st down.
Yeah, great job with the play action. Gets the aggressive linebackers up into the line of scrimmage to take away Travis Homer. Love the call here on 2nd down, and it gives these receivers, again, we talked about Richards being out. You're going to see Lawrence Cager in there. He's 6'5". Langham will be in there at 6'4". So they lose maybe the explosiveness of Richards, but they get the size with guys like Cager and Langham.
So Cager having his lower back worked on. They cannot afford another injury to a receiver. Homer to the boundary into a lot of orange jerseys, gains nothing. Leland Farrell, the defensive end, the freaky pass rusher. Pretty good run support, too.
Yeah, great team speed from Clemson. And Clemson, I'm sure, looked at last week's film and said, hey, guys, let's try to approach this Miami offense in the same way. Let's force them to throw the football effectively and consistently to be able to beat us. Let's load up against Homer and the running threat of Rozier and take our chances holding up in man-to-man until Rozier can prove that he can throw the ball consistently.
There's a run up the middle, just trying to make it third and more manageable. Without Chris Herndon, the tight end who's such a great blocker and has 40 catches, Michael Irvin II, Michael Irvin's son, number 87, has got to step up and play huge tonight.
And he's got great hands. He's a great receiver. The area that he's really trying to improve is blocking. And they say that Herndon's one of the best blocking tight ends that Mark Richt's been around, that he's been fortunate enough to have.
On third down, you get the feeling Herndon would be in there. But Irvin is out, a 4-receiver set. Tigers bring some pressure. Rozier rolls and fires to Braxton Berrios, who swarmed. The Tigers were ready for it, and it's a loss back near the 30. Fourth down. Van Smith combining with Farrell.
For an athletic defense that flies to the ball, keep in mind they moved the launch point. Quarterback rolls right, but look here to the near side. How disciplined this Clemson defense played. Van Smith, 23. Trayvon Mullen does a good job. They fly to the ball typically, but this time they stayed home on third down, anticipating a throw to Berrios.
Michael Badgley, that all ACC kicker, is a future NFL kicker, but this is a bad sign. The guy who almost never misses is wide left from 46, and the Canes don't cash in the takeaway.
The 2017 Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game on ABC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave. In part by Taco Bell. Try the tasty rolled chicken tacos back for a limited time. And your local Lexus dealer. Make this a December to remember.
Against a team as good as Clemson, crucial to take advantage of your opportunities. For the underdog Canes, a missed opportunity as Badgley, just his 4th miss of the season, really yanked it left from the start. The all-conference kicker was 5 points short of Miami's career scoring record. Can't come through, and Dabo says that turnover didn't cost us. So second possession for Kelly Bryant and the Tigers. Etienne, who scored the touchdown, is the tailback. Bryant gets it to him in the flat. And Etienne takes a hard hit, is slammed down by Joe Jackson.
But I'll tell you
Miami
what,
made him pay.
He took a hard hit, but he also gave a hit. For a true freshman, strong lower body, really known for his initial acceleration. Those first 2 or 3 yards when he takes off, I don't know if there are very many people in the country that can stay with him, but what's surprised me in watching him this year for a young guy is how physical he can run.
Only the 4th time he's caught a pass, not normally involved in that part of the offense. And now Bryant over the middle, flips it to Ray McLeod, who makes the catch, drops the ball, and Miami unable to come up with it. It was bouncing around. Malik Young had a chance, and then Mylan Richard, the tight end, jumped on it for Clemson.
Yeah, action this way. Watch the linebackers. Watch how they get outside and up again. They go fast. They get a little bit of deception, and the safeties and the linebackers are caught with their eyes in the backfield. Makes it very, very easy for Kelly Bryant when the Miami defense is out of position.
And these mistakes from Miami beginning to really pile up. An opportunity to get the football back. And Young couldn't come up with it. So now first down, Etienne slips a tackle in the backfield and fights hard to get back to the line of scrimmage. Michael Pinckney, the linebacker, fast, not big, but a terrific player.
Part of what I think we're watching right now is just the big game experience, ACC championship experience. Clemson has been there and done that as a program. They played in so many big games over the last 4 or 5 years. And right now, just the shock of how big of this game this is right now is, I think, favoring the Clemson Tigers.
It's a great point. Etienne shows that lower body power you talked about, gets down to the 20. Yeah, can Miami match Clemson's ability, Kurt, to tune out the hype and the static and just focus on what it takes to win a game like this? Not so far.
Absolutely. I mean, when you play in so many big games, and this is what Mark Richt is building his team back to being, is it's not just X's and O's. It's being able to deal with the emotion that college football, you watched all day today, you watched the game last night. It's a big part of the game. And when you've been there and you've experienced it, it really allows you to play with confidence and allows you to settle in and almost welcome that energy.
On 3rd and 3, Zach McLeod, one of the starting linebackers, out of the game for Miami. He was up to the sidelines. Bryant looks short. McLeod spins. Tigers 1st and goal.
They are picking on the linebackers right now in space, whether it's Zach McLeod or this time Quarterman. And Kelly Bryant is throwing the ball in rhythm. He's back, he's making quick reads, and he's distributing the football. Love the confidence to go right back to Ray McLeod.
Bryant 7 for 7, already 104 yards. McLeod in motion again. They fake it to him. Bryant slips, and he'll be dropped for a loss. A defense that does that more than any other, and it's Chad Thomas that time.
Yeah, good job up front by Miami getting off of blocks. A lot of big bodies up there. They right up in this area right here. They have such quickness, and they do a good job of being able to get off those blocks, make those plays. Second time now we've seen Chad Thomas with a good job of just getting off and being able to make a play in the backfield.
And now, Kirk, it's big Kendrick Norton, the defensive tackle. Miami's defensive players getting nicked up here in the early going. Kendrick Norton, center your screen. Look at his right knee. That is ugly as it is rolled up on, and the big 300-pound bully of that Miami defensive line somehow able to walk off the field, but that did not look good, Kirk.
No, it's great to see him up and walking and headed into the tent.
Meanwhile, his teammates have got to find a way to slow Clemson's momentum. Tigers with a 2nd down and goal. Bryant straight back. Looking, now he'll take off. Shows the speed. Kelly Bryant, touchdown! Two possessions, 2 scores for the champs.
This is where you wonder, with Bandy out, it forces Sheldrick Redwine into that same spot. And that's who Kelly Bryant outran to the corner of that end zone.
You've got 3 Miami starting defenders already dealing with injury problems in this first quarter. Bandy, Zach McLeod, who had his arm taped up, went back in there, and Norton.
How about Kelly Bryant? 7 of 7 in the first 2 drives, 5 carries, scored a touchdown. They blitz right here. Watch that nickelback, who's a safety, Redwine, who's in for the injured Bandy. Man to man, there's no one left. It's Redwine's responsibility to be able to spy the quarterback and prevent him from getting out and doing that.
That was the touchdown chain, air chain given to Kelly Bryant. After that, the turnover chain should have really come out for the 2nd time on that drive, and you just knew that when Malik Young couldn't come up with that fumble, that was going to be critical.
Yep.
This underdog defense, which is suddenly shorthanded. Spence, it's a low boot, and Jeff Thomas will be driven back in the end zone. That's a good kickoff. We'll check in with Cassidy Hubbarth in the studio.
Thanks, Chris. AT&T Field Pass, Big Ten Championship game. Ohio State and undefeated Wisconsin. JT Barrett looks to be okay. Airs it out to Terry McLaurin, who does the rest. An 84-yard TD connection. Buckeyes up 7-0. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
All right, Cassidy, you'll keep us posted. Clemson looking very much like they are deserving of the playoff committee's top seed coming into this final weekend of games. Miami, knowing that they needed to make some things happen and seize their opportunities, unable to do so in the early going. It's been an offense that has struggled to reach the end zone in the first quarter. Only 4 first quarter touchdowns all year, Kirk. Only 1 in the last 8 games. DJ Dallas is the tailback now. Tigers shuffle around before the snap, and Rozier gets it out quickly to Barrios, and the North Carolina native, he comes from the Raleigh area, makes the play.
Brent Venables very aggressive defensive coordinator. One of the things we're seeing here in the first few drives by Miami is a lot of pre-snap movement, trying to confuse not just the quarterback, but also affect the timing of that offensive line. We've seen a couple of false starts. I'm sure it's affecting the communication. Those offensive linemen are yelling different calls, and as that defensive line is bouncing around, it's impacting what they're trying to do up front.
Rozier, pocket collapses, and the quarterback sacked. Christian Wilkins got there in a hurry. Clemson's 41st sack of the season.
Watch Christian Wilkins, who's one of the most talented players in the country. He uses power and quickness, and when you put him in the middle against offensive guards, it's a mismatch. Donaldson's a true freshman. It's 6'6", 350 pounds. He's going up against a mastermind. One of the best players, not just physically, but as a 3-year starter, a guy that knows all the tricks. That time, he made Donaldson look like a true freshman.
Nothing but future NFL players in that front four for Clemson. 3rd and 10.
And this is where he'll really dial up the pressure.
And they bring it. Rozier gets it away. High throw. Berrios could not come down with it. Surrounded by 3 Tiger defenders, including Isaiah Simmons.
I'll tell you, that's a heck of an effort here to be able to get this ball off, because Brent Venables, again, he's showing pressure here, here, and here, but this safety actually drops off and makes the play. Look at Simmons get back 11. He gets back, not quite into the throwing lane, but gets over and knocked the ball away from Braxton Berrios. Heck of a play by the young freshman.
Simmons, 6'3", those long arms, a disruptive freak in that secondary. And now on the run, Fiegels gets off a terrible punt. Bounces backwards. We talked about the struggles of this true freshman. The last thing Miami needed was that, as the Tigers will take over at the 41 after a 16-yarder.
Yeah, I see Manny Diaz out there trying to fire his team up, and this is the thing when you're taking on great teams like Clemson. They don't let up. They don't feel sorry for you. In fact, if anything, they put their foot on the accelerator.
Let's go down to Maria Taylor.
Yeah, Chris, I heard Manny Diaz as well. He was telling his team, this is a game of momentum. We can easily get it back, but you guys have to calm down. Trying to really get his team on the same page right now on the sidelines.
You talked about, Kirk, that big game experience for the guys in orange. Their big game wardrobe is the orange breeches. When they put the orange breeches on, it usually means it's a big rivalry game or a postseason game, and these guys know how to play when you put up the orange breeches on.
Yeah, and they really, honestly, I mean, we have fun talking about that, but they buy into it, and when they see the orange pants in their locker, they know that it's championship time.
Adam Choice, the junior from Georgia, in the game now. They flip the ball in motion to Amari Rogers, and the true freshman receiver scoots out for a gain that'll put him near the marker. He'll be just short. 3rd down.
Nice block to get the edge there. Cannon Smith, the tight end. Also the receiver downfield, DeAndre Overton. Unselfish group. They're not really one of these teams they don't get caught up in who's scoring or who's getting the attention. They just go out and execute. Miami gets Clemson to a 3rd down here.
2 tight ends to the right. Choice. Now the tight ends motion over to the left. Clemson 3 for 3 on 3rd down so far tonight. Choice spun down. It'll be just short. But you got to believe Dabo's going to go for this. They don't have a long distance kicking threat. Need only about a foot here.
Miami's fortunate to be able to keep him short of that 1st down. Good job by Quarterman at getting down in there, making a play. He was freed up by the defensive lineman, eating up those blocks.
They'll measure to see exactly how short they are, but a chance for the Miami defense here if they can somehow get a stop to claim some of that momentum that Diaz talked about. But good luck against the way Clemson's executing right now. Actually, the yellow line wasn't totally lined up with the chain, so that is a 1st down. No need to gamble on 4th down.
Be careful here. After a conversion like that, and it's starting to get deeper into Miami territory, this is where you can see those shock plays. Some eye candy, trying to get the safeties and linebackers caught up looking at run because they've been running the ball. And they've been throwing some quick passes. This is usually when they'll try to sneak in a shot downfield.
This double stack formation. Kirk, 2 receivers on either side of the formation. Choice is still the back. And Bryant has a lot of time to survey the field. Now flips it over the middle. It's complete. Caught down to the 15-yard line by DeAndre Overton, the sophomore from right here in North Carolina. At the end of the first quarter, the champions throwing and landing some early haymakers on top 14-0. End of one in Charlotte. We'll be back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Tigers up 14-0, beginning of the second quarter. The Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game here on ABC. Taco Bell, proud partner of the College Football Playoff. We're always on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. Almost an identical shade of orange between these two fan bases. It's very hard to tell it apart. You get some Miami green mixed in there, but it's the Clemson fans enjoying themselves as the Tigers are threatening a first down as we begin the second quarter. A handoff to Choice, who intercepts and now muscles for a huge first down gain of about 9.
You get so caught up in so many different weapons that Bryant has. Sometimes you forget to appreciate the offensive line. That time Taylor Hearn, nice job leading around. And there's another back that's getting his opportunity now in Choice.
You're right, very underrated offensive line. And behind that O-line, Choice barrels ahead and creates a 1st and goal down at the 1. You know, Bradley Chubb, the defined defensive player of the year in this league, he told me by far Clemson the best O-line that he faced. And he's an authority on that.
Yeah, no doubt. You and I called the national championship last year, and a lot of people made a big deal after the game about Clemson wearing down Alabama. Big part of that is they rotate so many people, they stay fresh.
On 1st and goal, Choice hammered and met behind the line. That was a nice play. And get back to the line of scrimmage there. Chad Thomas met him.
Chad Thomas and big Kendrick Norton after that looked like a really serious
he's
injury.
Back in the
he's
game?
Back out there. In fact, he's the one who made that initial hit right there and almost looked like he may have had a chance to try to knock that ball loose. It was such a big hit. That's showing a lot of guts, playing really hard.
A lot of flexibility in the knee, too. Choice shifts to the left, 2nd and goal. Canes crowd the center of the line. Choice met right there and will be dropped again short of the goal line by Shaq Quarterman and Zach McLeod, 2 linebackers.
Yeah, the 2 linebackers do a good job. Joe Jackson's in there as well. Point of attack right there. That nice block by the tight end. But you see both linebackers submerge. Do a good job of keeping him just short of that end zone. I thought Kelly Bryant might pull that, and he could have walked into the end zone.
Choice not as fast as his backfield mate. Very solid, and he's the strongest short yardage back in this group. He's still in there, along with a couple of tight ends.
Dabo full sprint mode all the way to the goal line to get that timeout in.
It wasn't because the play clock was running out. He just saw something he didn't like in that formation. He knows the importance. You punch it in here, get it to 21-0. A long climb back for the Hurricanes. Take a break.
Tom Rinaldi, welcome back to the ACC Championship. We talk about twitch and explosive speed. There's Dabo Swinney. He started from outside the 35-yard line on a full sprint to get that timeout. Kirk, we talk often about the importance of speed off the line. Dabo just showed it.
Let's see what he's cooked up in the timeout on 3rd and goal. Choice scores standing up, and the Tigers are pouring it on in Charlotte. At the short field after the poor punt, only 41 yards to make it 21-0.
That's just taking control of the line of scrimmage, believing that they're not going to try to get cute. They're just going to continue to pound that offensive line and those tight ends right into the teeth of that Miami defense and put another touchdown up on the board. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns.
And total yards in this championship game, Clemson 180, Miami 22.
2017 Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game on ABC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave. In part by Ford, going further so you can. And Pacific Life, experience the power of Pacific.
Throughout their resilient, great season, Miami has done a lot to fight from behind. They've been clutch. They battled back, but they have not been down 21 before, much less to the likes of Clemson. You can see the adding of the 21 onto the 58-0 most recent meeting between these two teams, the rock bottom low point in Hurricane football history, 2015 season, after which Al Golden was fired. There are a couple dozen players on both sides who were a part of that game, although not really relevant. Miami has improved and grown a lot since then. Jeff Thomas has sparked the Canes from the goal line. And the Tigers knock him down at the 20s. We check in with Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Chris. AT&T Field Pass back to Indy. After a Wisconsin pick six, tied at 7, Paris Campbell on the catch and run turns on the burners. Down the sidelines, 57 yards to put the Buckeyes back on top, 14-7. Chris, Herbie, back to you.
All right, Cassidy, thank you. All right, meanwhile, here in Charlotte, Kirk, Malik Corgier, you don't have your top tight end. You don't have your fastest wide receiver. You're down by 3 touchdowns. What can you do to gain some traction in this game?
Try to get a first down and just try to stop the bleeding. I mean, it's just been downhill, favoring Clemson the entire game up to this point.
Travis Homer is an explosive back, cuts it down across the 25. Maria?
Well, Chris, we've watched Malik Rozier play throughout the season, and before the Notre Dame game, his father had a stroke on November 6th and ended up in the hospital for an entire week. Now, he has had successful surgery to repair a hole in his heart, and he's since returned to work. But Malik has been dealing with this the entire time as he's played throughout the end of the regular season. He said it's affected his focus some. Now that his dad is back at work, he feels better about it, and he has 85% of his strength back on his left side.
Yeah, that's great news. Yeah, he did say finally this week he had some peace of mind. It was difficult before the Pittsburgh week with his dad going through surgery.
I can only imagine.
Homer knocked down a yard short. You talk about getting a first down. This becomes a very important play for an offense that struggles even on 3rd and short. One of the worst teams in the country converting on 3rd and short. Rozier able to sneak it, and they do move the sticks. So they do have that first down, but in the passing game, which they knew they were going to have to find ways to make plays without Herndon and Richards.
I think going back to your question, I think you got to stick to your game plan, which means some quarterback run. You got to find matchups that you like with the big, tall tight ends. Here's Urban right here. Yeah, I really think Cager's a matchup that they can take advantage of along with Langham because of their size and height. Both those receivers, one of them 6'5", the other 6'4".
Oh my goodness, Langham now down. He's the guy that made that heroic catch to beat Florida State. Final seconds, and then the catch that set up the game-winning field goal against Georgia Tech the next week. See what happened to Langham.
He was blocking, and here comes Urban. He just rolled up.
Can anything else go wrong? This team in white tonight. They got 6 yards on first down. Now it's a quarterback keeper. Wilkins just there to meet Rozier and knock him down for a loss.
Well, this again, fast-flowing defense, backside, never gives up on a play. Love to watch Wilkins work. Watch how he gets through into the seam right here between the guard and the tackle, and then look at the speed for the big man. He has such great instincts for a 300-pounder. The NFL will love Christian Wilkins because he can play inside, he can play outside. Such versatility, and again, for his size, incredible speed and quickness.
Canes need 5 on 3rd down. Tigers are crowding the line. Here comes the pressure. Rozier rolls away and delivers downfield. A missed opportunity again. It was Thomas open. Rozier overthrew him. 4th down.
Yeah, they got pressure to him. They're going to get after him, and Miami anticipating that, so they moved the launch point. But look at the background to the right. He's got a matchup with one of his fastest receivers against the safety, Van Smith. Chance to make a big play, and they're just unable to capitalize on it.
Yeah, Eli, Malik's dad, upset there. Dorian O'Daniel did jump right in the quarterback's face, but that's a throw you got to make when you're 3 touchdowns behind. So McLeod was run into and muffed the first punt. Back to make a fair catch of a much, much better Fiegel's punt. The erratic freshman boots this one well, and the Tigers will take over at the 15. 49 yards on that one. Chris Felica, the Bear, ready with our Affleck trivia question for this week.
Hello. Just, we're going to ask you tonight something related to Clemson, our Affleck trivia question. When was the last time a defending national champion won consecutive national championships with two different primary starting quarterbacks? Clemson, of course, winning with Sean last year.
We'll work on that one. Give us a second. C.J. Fuller in the game as the Tigers pin back at their 15 to start the drive. Renfro dropped right there.
Nice play by Miami. Being able to get off of a block and make a play.
Derek Smith, one of the guys who's pressed into duty. He's a backup safety.
Yeah, they're having to, because of some of these injuries, they're having to get into their 2 and 3 deep. They moved him to that nickel spot where Bandy was playing.
Empty backfield. Now they flip it in the flat. And the catch is made by C.J. Fuller. It's one-man miss and knocked down short of the 20. It'll be 3rd and 5.
So a game gets like this, 21-0. You're playing the defending national champs, and they've got incredible confidence. They're executing 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. And Miami's been upstart this year, and they believe in themselves. But this is the moment in the game. You're either going to get blown out or somebody's going to step up and provide some leadership and get the team in white to believe that they can win tonight, or at least compete tonight. They've got leaders on this team. Somebody's got to step up and make a play.
See if they can on 3rd down. Gaines brings some late pressure. Bryant gets it out. Catch made. McLeod battling, and it is a 1st down. He has been so accurate. Can you be any sharper than Bryant has been so far tonight?
No, he hasn't missed yet, and it's just he gets back. I want you to watch his rhythm. One hitch, ball's out. And when he's throwing like that, he's seeing coverage, and he's throwing the ball accurately. And that's exactly what he's done. 12 of 12, 136 yards right now throwing the football.
McLeod limping off for the Hurricanes, the linebacker. Now on 1st down, they flip it in the flat again. And Ray McLeod able to plow forward to the 30, short gain. Smith, that backup safety, has been active in the Canes defense.
I just, all year I've watched Kelly Bryant, and I've just bowed down to what he has done. Not just because he's got this team in position to win an ACC championship and into the playoff, because the pressure to replace Deshaun Watson after winning a national championship and everything that Deshaun did. And instead of feeling the pressure to try to be Deshaun, he's just been Kelly Bryant.
Play action. Mylan Richard, the tight end, leaks out and makes the catch. It's another Clemson 1st down.
Such confidence from when you and I saw him, and actually even early against Louisville and Virginia Tech. But I don't know, think about your favorite team out there and a superstar player and that next guy that tried to replace him. That is not an easy thing to do, to step into that shadow. And I just think he's been a great fit for this team. The way he is running the offense, it's different than Deshaun, but obviously incredibly effective.
And the quarterback hands off to Fuller, who is swarmed under for a 2-yard loss to Tom Rinaldi.
Just to pick up on what you were saying, Kirk, regarding Kelly Bryant and the notion that you don't have to be Deshaun Watson, you just have to be the best version of yourself. Talking to Tony Elliott before the game, he pointed to 2 turning points in Bryant's season. One being on the road against Virginia Tech and the performance that he authored there, where he felt his confidence really took full flight. And after the only loss they've suffered here, when you think about what Bryant has come through as a result of that, he's gained confidence by being himself, guys.
He's pressured flush and will be run out of bounds for a sack by Michael Pinckney. He is so chilled. I asked him, do you think you're going to be more emotional, more fiery? Because Deshaun Watson used to do that. And he's no, I'm going to do exactly what I always do. And he's been so calm and collected, and it works for him, clearly.
And again, I love this story from Dabo Swinney, because in spring ball, he maybe felt a little bit of that, and Dabo kind of put his arm around him and told him, hey, just be the best Kelly Bryant that you can be. Don't worry about trying to be Deshaun Watson, which I thought was great advice early before they even got to camp in August.
Tigers perfect on 3rd down, 6 for 6, but they need 16 on this play. Bryant has lots of time, but now chooses to escape. Looks downfield to McLeod, who makes a catch along the sidelines. It's another first down near midfield, and he's still perfect.
Manny Diaz decides to just rush 4, sit back with 7, and have an opportunity to make Kelly Bryant have to read the coverage. And you just talked about how chill he is. Patience. Works eventually to find Ray McLeod, and a good effort by Ray to get his feet down for the first down.
Needed 16, got 18. Remember, the ball touched the ground out of Bryant's hand. He's 14 for 14.
Sometimes they take shots down here to Deon Cain after a big conversion on 3rd down.
Work the sidelines. It's over the head of Cain, who was bracketed. Bryant was knocked down, and finally his first incompletion.
Talking to the Clemson coaches this week, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to try to go into the boundary to Deon Cain. It was impressive to hear that Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott saying that this group of corners are probably the best that we've had to deal with since we played in the national championship against Alabama. Not just the athletic ability, but the technique. He said they're outside leverage, meaning it's hard to get around them and get to the corner to be able to make big plays downfield.
Bryant off the hands of that freshman T. Higgins on a bubble screen. What's going on? Back-to-back incompletions for this Tiger offense, Kirk. It's unraveling here.
Yeah, that was a drop there. So put an asterisk next to that one for Kelly Bryant.
Your point's a good one about Miami's DBs, but as you point out, they're picking on the linebackers.
Yeah,
underneath.
They have in the nickelbacks and the safeties. And they get him to 3rd down and long again. Last time they rushed 4, dropped 7, tried to make him read coverage, and he did. Let's see if they come after him this time to mix it up. There's Renfro in motion, who they usually go to on 3rd down. Here they come.
Pressure up the middle. Bryant chased. A desperation heave into the bench. So that time Diaz, typical aggression, and it works.
Yes, exactly right. This time they decide to bring all the pressure from the middle. When you bring the pressure from the middle, right here, you got to make sure you keep contained, which is what they did, because Kelly Bryant instinctively, he's going to try to get outside. They see Trent Harris, 33, working to the outside, did not let him get outside. And because of that, Bryant sensed it, and all he could do was throw the football away.
Amari Carter, one of those talented young DBs, a true freshman, he came hard on the Brits there, and finally Miami is able to stop this Clemson offense. First punt for Will Spires. Berrios standing in his 10. Drops the point, kicks it high with backspin, and Berrios up to make the fair catch at the 20. So Miami finally able to get a stop. We'll see if Malik Bergier and the Canes offense can cut into this lead. 5:37 before halftime.
Cassidy Hubbard with your Dr. Pepper Championship Drive update. Ohio State, Wisconsin, and J.K. Dobbins shows off the wheels. The true freshman goes 77 yards out at the 1. J.T. Barrett would score on the very next play. It's now 21-7 Buckeyes in the second. Chris, Herbie, back to you guys.
Badgers trying to answer. Clemson, the top seed in the playoff committee rankings, coming in with a 3-touchdown lead. As Miami takes over at the 20. They'll get the ball to start the second half. If they could generate something, cut into the lead here, at least get a foothold. Play action. Rozier steps up out of traffic, and I'll tell you what, thought he had some space. It closed down quickly as big Dexter Lawrence at 340 pounds ran him down.
Yeah, that offensive line so far overmatched. But we talked about the energy from Miami and who can provide a little bit of a spark or get this team to believe, whether it's the offense or the defense. We were talking with Maria there at the break. She had an interesting take on that.
Rozier bumps into somebody, rolls out, fires downfield over the head of Berrios. It'll be 3rd and long now. Maria?
Well, yeah, Kirk, they're right now missing that spark on offense. His name is Mark Walton, who hasn't been with the team. He hurt his ankle in the 4th game, has been out with season-ending ankle surgery, and he's the alpha dog. Offensive coordinator Thomas Brown told me he was the guy who could get in someone's face and challenge them and say this is the expectation and see guys respond to it, and you just don't see it on the sideline right now.
That when you're down 21, that's what you need.
Exactly. Travis Homer, you saw his replacement, a talented back, but a much quieter guy than Walton. Not the same alpha personality. And you're without Chris Herndon, a senior leader. He's a captain, the tight end out injured, watching this game back in Miami, along with Richard. So someone's going to have to step up and try to fill that void and get this offense going.
And here is 3rd and 8 for Rozier. They're going to actually call a timeout to talk about this.
Play clock was winding down. They spent a long time getting the play in and getting out of the huddle. And we talked to both sides about the issue you brought up a couple times, Kirk, which is playoff experience. And sometimes the coach's instinct is to downplay that. Well, it doesn't matter what we've done. We've got to go out and play football. It's another game. But, boy, you spotted in a couple instances here where Clemson, a business-like poise, and Miami a little scattered, a little edgy, I thought, early in the game.
Well, I think emotional. I mean, we talked in the open when we were on the field before the game. Miami, man, they were excited and they're ready to shock the world, and that's great. But when you're going up against a team like Clemson, they just don't get really caught up in those emotions. They're here on a business trip. They're here to execute, and they got off to about as good of a start as they could hope for. And when you're the defending champs and your quarterback starts 12 of 12, 13 of 13, and a defense is forcing Miami off the field, man, it tends to obviously create a belief that, hey, we're headed back to the playoff. And Miami's got to try to meet that attitude.
3rd and 8. Rozier has time for the pocket and delivers a low throw. Barrios went down and got it, but he's a yard short of the marker. Now on 4th down, deep in his territory. Does Ricks take a gamble here? Nope.
No, he's going to. Boy, if you go for it here in your own 29 and you don't make it and you're down 21.
You know what the crowd in front of us wants to do? Want to go for it.
Yeah. Maybe at midfield, but not at your own 29.
Barrios not able to get across that yard marker before making the catch, and Miami a 4th punt in their 5 possessions. This field goal the other one. Eagles better job here, and Hunter Renfro, who's in as the punt returner, backpedals and takes it at the 25. We have not forgotten about Chris Felica with the Athletic trivia question answer. We haven't hazarded a guess to go back to teams that have won championships in back-to-back years with 2
Nebraska
primary starting quarterbacks.
Was that Frazier? That was Frazier.
94, 95. Yeah, Tommy Frazier got it done.
Just because of Brooks Bellinger, I don't know if he would be considered a starter or not.
Well, the answer to the Athletic trivia question, I thought you were going to go Nebraska 94, 95. Frazier did start both of those games.
Oh, okay.
You got to go back to Alabama, 78, 79. Jeff Rutledge and Stedman Shealy.
Wow.
Kelly Bryant obviously looking like he's getting close to getting another shot at that this year.
Off to a really good start there. Man, he looks good.
Bears been getting tough for the last couple of weeks, going back to the late 70s on us.
Yeah.
Clemson, Kirk, we've seen them do this so often. Get the football late in the half.
Oh, yeah.
Whether they're behind or ahead, execute an efficient drive to stretch the lead before halftime.
Again, it's their comfort zone. They just don't show any panic at all. And they're big on getting points before the half.
Bryant collected a high snap, which could have messed up the timing, but he got it to Feaster, who makes a gain of 6. 6'4" with long arms to collect those high snaps.
Snap was high to his right. Still was able to catch it and get the ball into the hands of Feaster.
Talked about how deep this team is. They'll use 9 different wide receivers. We're seeing some different faces in the game at that position. Cornell Powell, TJ Chase in the game along with Higgins, and this is Etienne. They fake it to him and a throw across the middle. Higgins unable to get there, kind of broke it off, defended by Young.
Well, if you look at Jaquan Johnson, his safety, he came down and he actually got into the throwing lane. Watch him kind of work down, and Kelly Bryant tried to negotiate him and work with him, but you can see he's right where he wanted to throw the ball. Then I think he started to feel pressure and he had to get rid of it. So Johnson, good job of getting right where he needed to be to affect Bryant and his receiver Higgins.
Can Miami get the football back? Clemson needing 4. Bryant has missed on his last 4 attempts. Pressure again, delivers incomplete. It was a high throw. Once again, there was a rush in his face. TJ Chase, the intended receiver.
And Chad Thomas on a little stunt up front. Looks like he might have to be looked at by the trainers, but he moved from out here into the inside, and that's what ultimately affected the timing and made Bryant have to get rid of that ball. But pretty good coverage again by Jaquan Johnson. Talking about who's going to get this team back into it. Johnson's been the leader. They call him the eraser because if there's ever a problem, he comes in and just cleans it up.
He's had a takeaway in 6 consecutive games, but he's been quiet tonight so far. They've avoided him. Thomas, by the way, he's the 4th different Miami defender to be looked at by the trainers in this first half.
And the reason that's a big stop, not only, hey, you get Clemson's offense off the field, you got 3:44 to go, you got 2 timeouts. Don't forget, Miami does get the ball to start the second half. So this is a drive and an opportunity for Miami. If they are able to get points on this drive, and then you get the ball to start the second half, then that's how you start to kind of climb your way back into the game.
Thomas favoring the left leg as he walks off. He's been active tonight. He's had 5 tackles already, a couple of them behind the line and a sack. So they need big number 9 to grit his teeth and get back in there. Spires to punt. Barrios on his 27. And delayed rugby punt. It's a low boot. Very tough to return this, and that just hits and stops and rolls dead at the 39.
Pretty good field position.
Yeah. Canes will take that after what they've faced tonight. Well, tomorrow, the exclusive reveal of the final college football playoff rankings, which for are in the bracket. These tables will host a gang of a whole bunch of folks. We'll break it down. It's a 4-hour special beginning at noon Eastern time. Clemson in the pole position coming in. Auburn, of course, losing to Georgia. They'll drop out. Oklahoma solidly in. You'd have to feel like they'd be 2 or 3 if Clemson keeps it up and wins this game. Homer cuts it back. It's been tough to generate yards on the ground for Miami. He got about a half yard there.
Remember, 45 yards rushing last week against Pitt. They knew tonight they'd have to run the ball better. So far, 26 yards rushing. Clemson taking that away. Going to have to throw the football with Rozier.
Rozier rolls and delivers, and the catch is made by Irvin. And the tight end filling big shoes tonight. Able to stumble across to the 46.
About 3rd down. 6'3", 248 pounds. They say he has the best hands on the team. Nice job of catching it. It'd be great if he kept his feet and picked up the first down.
Just his 6th catch. And on 3rd down, Homer with a quick burst up the middle. That's their best running play tonight, and they're in Clemson territory now.
We've seen Clemson run some zone read, and this time you're going to see Miami just read Farrell on the end. Stays wide for the quarterback. Give it to Homer. Let him pick up good yards. Good side job at the left side of that offensive line.
Canes trying to employ some up-tempo. They use this rarely, but tactically. Homer just lowers the shoulder, and Kendall Joseph was there to meet him 3 yards down.
Homer is a physical guy. I know Walton is the back that everybody talks about, but watch his collision. It's 195 pounds running into a 230-pound linebacker and put him on his back right there. That's what happens when you run low and accelerate through contact like that with Travis Homer.
Kendall Joseph, the 2nd leading tackler in the defense, knocked on his backside by the running back.
We need to see Braxton Berrios start to get chances. He's in the slot up at the top.
Homer trying to look for a place to cut it back, but Christian Wilkins just getting off the block again and making the play.
Boy, is he beautiful. I mean, honestly, he is so good at being able to work down the line like that. It's so hard to get wide, not just because of the speed on the edge, but watch him work inside out. He's working against that freshman. Donaldson was able to shed him, keeping his eyes in the backfield, and then comes down the line and makes a heck of a play.
Donaldson, a freshman, he's a 4-star recruit, but he's getting baptized in a big way against some dudes will be playing on Sunday very soon. 3rd and 7.
Here they come.
Play clock at 5. Rozier gets it out quickly, but it was deflected at the line, and it's 4th down.
Now guess who got their hand up there? The big fella again, Christian Wilkins. He is so effective at doing this. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes in the backfield. Saw him do this so many times last year and again this year. Just an athletic guy and has such awareness to know when that ball is being released. If he doesn't get up there and knock that down, it's a 1st down for Miami.
Rick probably hates to do it, but he sends out the punter. You agree with this choice not to gamble on 4th and 7?
Yeah, I think you have. If you go for it, you give the ball back to Kelly Bryant, you could be down 28-0. Give the ball to him near midfield.
It's a well-executed punt there by Fiegels, down at the 1 with exactly 1 minute to play before halftime. And stay tuned for the Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway. Someone's going to win $100,000 in tuition from Dr. Pepper. We're going to see if we see that two-handed kind of chest pass.
I call that the Hoosiers. The Hoosiers pass from that movie. The snap it, snap it, snap it from Gene Hackman. That's the technique they're using.
Maybe you should coach them down there.
I love to see the reaction when they win it. It's pretty cool. $100,000.
Big time. Stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report. Kevin Nagandi, Mac Brown, Booger McFarland in the studio. They'll update you what's going on with the Ohio State-Wisconsin game and all the scores and highlights from the victories by Oklahoma and Georgia this afternoon. So Clemson just careful to avoid a safety before halftime. They hand it off to Etienne in the end zone, and he's able to dart out near the 5.
And this is where Clemson, I'm sure before their coaches sent their team out, it's hold on to the football.
Rick spending a timeout here, his second, hoping to force a punt. It's scary you run that offense with a quarterback in the shotgun. You hand it off so deep in the end zone there.
Right.
Talked about the missed opportunities, Kirk. The turnover chain came out early on the muff punt, but then a rare miss from Michael Badgley. This rare missed opportunity as Jeff Thomas was running free. He couldn't convert there. There's the miss. And then a play that really could have turned things around. McLeod fumbles the ball. Malik Young, the corner, has it right in his hands. Couldn't come up with it. And Clemson's second touchdown followed soon after.
And what you can't tell from that is the way the game got out of hand pretty early. Miami's trailing 14-0 in the first quarter. I mean, it was boom, boom, boom. And Kelly Bryant was just in a great rhythm throwing the ball. And Miami's fortunate to stop this at 21-0 because it had a feel of 35-0 in the first by the end of the first half.
On 2nd and 6, again, Bryant has to move to get the snap. That's dangerous down there. Etienne is wrestled down by Michael Pinckney, and it's 3rd down as the Canes spend their final timeout.
It keeps going to the right. It's not just high, it's to the way to the right. And when you have the quickness of Etienne, I'm sure Bryant's thinking, I got to get that ball down quickly before Etienne runs by me.
Justin Falcinelli is the center, and from the Progressive Pylon cam, you could see the traffic down in there. He had a few errant snaps this season, but pretty reliable, and big fella got to be careful down there.
Well, he ended up being first team all-conference, replacing really a leader last year in Jay Guillermo.
Another guy, too, Mitch Hyatt, got the award as the top blocker in the ACC. It's the Jacobs Trophy, the left tackle number 75. And he's the best tackle that Bradley Chubb told me he went against, and they played against Notre Dame's vaunted offensive line. But Hyatt, number 75, joining Falcinelli, of course, first team all-conference. Canes can force a punt, perhaps get an opportunity before halftime if they can stop him here on 3rd down. Don't have any more timeouts, so Clemson could wind it down before punting it. Bryant, the safe play, the keeper, tackled at the 5, and now the clock will run. Pinckney was there on the stop. Canes defense begun to step up a little bit here in the second quarter.
Yeah, they're about a 1 second difference there with a game clock and a play clock.
Clemson could wind it down and spend a timeout if they'd like to before the punt.
Yeah, a couple stops here by Miami's defense to end the first half. I'm sure Manny Diaz and the Canes will try to talk about that to give them confidence going into the second half. Again, Miami does get the ball to start the second half.
Miami able to generate just 64 yards, Kirk, on their 26 plays. Clemson has spent a lot of time in Hurricanes territory, and they piled up 225 total yards. So just before zeros on the clock, Dabo will have to execute a punt or a play down here.
Well, with 1 second, you don't even have to do a punt. You can just snap the ball to the punter and
Bryant's in the game
to the quarterback and just have him just take a knee.
Got 2 seconds on the clock. Got to make sure you use up 2 seconds before you do take the knee.
Yep.
Tigers, an impressive performance from a championship winning team. Many new faces. Some of these guys were not starters on those championship teams, but they've been a part of this culture. And this head coach knows how to push every button and get his team ready for this time of the football season. Miami, which came in knowing it was going to be difficult to score on this Clemson defense. Everybody has trouble moving the ball and scoring on the Tigers, but unable to find a way without Herndon and without Richards in there and the offensive line, which has been overmatched up front.
That's the thing that's so hard is you get down to a team like Clemson and you're thinking, okay, let's circle the wagons here a little bit, and you don't have Herndon and you don't have Richards, and it makes it really hard, not to mention some of the injuries that they've sustained tonight. But give them credit. I mean, 21-0, it doesn't sound good, but it's not insurmountable. They can still come back and try to, if you score a touchdown, it can really kind of change the complexion of how you approach the game and what you think you can do. But the offense has got to go back to the drawing board and think about how they're going to have to throw the ball better. The running game is just not going to be there tonight.
Bryant's just got to get the ball to ETN and just get out of the end zone as the final 2 seconds tick down. Well, the Tigers came out, scored in their first 3 possessions. Did not find the end zone after that, but Kelly Bryant, who began the half 15 for 15, has run for a touchdown as well. And let's hear from Mike Rick with Maria.
All right, Coach, you've seen Clemson's initial punch. What's the key to generating a spark coming out of the locker room?
Well, obviously not a good start. It's 21 points. That's not insurmountable. The good news is we got another 30 minutes to play, and we'll get after it.
What's the key to generating a rhythm offensively in the second half?
Just block good, run good, throw and catch. That's all it is.
I think. Chris?
Well, Mark Rick used the same phrase you did, Kirk. Not insurmountable, but all you got to do is block, throw, catch, run. They haven't been able to do much of that so far in the first half against this tough Tigers defense. Get Dabo Swinney's thoughts on the first half with Tom Rinaldi, who's working his way toward the Clemson head coach, and now is ready. Tom?
Dabo, an impressive performance in the first half. What do you most want to improve upon in the final 30 minutes?
Well, we just got a little bit of a lull right there. Had an opportunity for a big play and had a guy stop running right there. But, you know, hey, we had some good execution. They pinned us deep. We were able to flip the field back. Defense is playing good. You know, that's a heck of a half. You know, never in a million years would I think we'd be up 21-0 at the half. But our guys came out. They were focused, ready to play. But these guys have come back on everybody. Virginia was way up on them. A lot of people have been up on them, and they have come back. They're a championship team. We're going to play great this half.
I have a feeling your team's going to hear that. Go get it. Appreciate it.
I was just going to say, Tom, that is his sneak preview of what he's going to remind his team how Miami has been a good second half team, a resilient bunch. But Clemson puts its stamp on this opening half, leading by 3 touchdowns here in the ACC championship game. Stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report right after these messages.
Welcome back to Dr. Pepper Championship Week.
Whether it's Miami or Clemson, the winner of this game is him.
Travis Etienne barrels ahead, and the champs on top quickly. Kelly Bryant, touchdown! Mistakes from Miami beginning to really pile up. And the Tigers are pouring it on in Charlotte. And welcome back to the Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game, part of Dr. Pepper Championship Week. Clemson Tigers up by 3 touchdowns. You see a championship performance from a football program that has really, in the last 3 years, Kirk, built itself into competing at the highest possible level. And the faces may change, the stars move on, but what doesn't change is Clemson knows how to play in games like this.
Well, I think we saw that early. We talked about that in about the second series of the game. From up here, you could feel that Clemson came into this game expecting to perform well. And I think Miami, especially off their first loss of the year against Pitt, they need some good things to happen to them early to get themselves to say, I told you we could do this. It's a big difference psychologically coming to the game. And now it's about Miami getting the ball here to start this second half. And as Coach talked about, score on this opening drive, and you get yourself to believe you can still get in here and compete in the second half.
Just 64 total yards. 27 passing yards. That's it for Malik Rozier. Jeff Thomas, a receiver who was missed a couple times on open plays in the first half, is the returner, loses the ball. The Canes avoid disaster and pick it up there. Retain possession at the 25-yard line as B.J. Johnson was able to collect it.
fortunately able to pick that up.
That's Dr. Pepper's spotlight looking at the Tigers up front.
Yeah, just the battle in the trenches. The offensive line doing their job, winning, especially early in this game, pushing Miami around. And how about the defensive line? Christian Wilkins, 42, leading the way. Farrell, we talked about these guys all year, and they came into this game focused. Wilkins really intimidating Miami up front and getting after Rozier. Rozier's going to have to throw the ball here to get this Miami offense going.
There's a first down throw, batted down at the line one more time by Christian Wilkins, who was just having a monster night.
Yeah, we're so used to him playing his best in these big games. And again, I want you to focus on his eyes. The recognition, like a linebacker, peeks into the backfield. That's not an accident. When 42 knocks the ball down this often, he knows he can't get there, so he's just waiting and waiting with his eyes on that quarterback, goes up, and again knocks that ball down.
Rozier listed at 6'1". He's not quite that tall, but Wilkins is knocking these balls down with his elbow. Homer, fake to him, and Rozier takes off. It's a good fake and a nice quick run by the quarterback. You can see that he's an effective runner. That's the first time he's really gotten out tonight.
Yeah, this is a midline option read. He's reading big Dexter Lawrence. Nobody blocked the 340-pounder. Instead, forget about trying to block him. Let's just read him. He took the back, saying to Rozier to hold on to it, and he picks up some very positive yards.
That's 16 of them. Longest play for Miami tonight. From the pocket, Rozier, a downfield shot, looping ball, and on the edge, no flag. Mike Harley, the true freshman, defended by Ryan Carter.
You can get away with this. You know, in super slow-mo, you might think it's interference. Watch the arm bar, 31, Carter. Watch how he uses that right arm to wall him off into the boundary. The referee's not going to call that. That's a good job, and in real time, it's much harder to see, but that is an arm bar, and he pushes him into the boundary, eliminates that space for the receiver to make a catch.
Clemson last year led the nation in pass interference and defensive holding penalties. They worked hard on it. They made those DBs wear boxing gloves in camp so they couldn't grab the jersey. Much better technique that time.
That was beautiful.
And they've really cut down on those calls in 2017. Homer, chased by Wilkins, gets away and lowers the shoulder and dives for 6 before Van Smith knocked him down. Third and manageable for the Canes.
Clemson sideline reacting. I think they felt that St. Louis had actually held Austin Bryant. 78, that right tackle. He actually did grab onto him, but it allowed Homer to get to the corner and give him a chance here where it's third and manageable. Watch at the top of your screen, 7 in orange. Right there, he grabs a hold of him, and that's what got Homer the corner. Should have been called.
Miami trying to create something here, a spark on the opening possession of the third quarter, needing 4 on third down. Tigers crowding the line. Rozier sidesteps and now will be brought down by Dexter Lawrence, the 340-pound sophomore.
This is what movement can do to an offensive line. He's lined up here, but instead of working here, he comes there. Creates some confusion and doubt. Left guard Darling thought that Gauthier would pick him up, but nobody picks him up. And look at the big fella closing in on him at 340 pounds.
Yeah, rare combination of power and speed. The guy has been playing through a foot injury all season long. This is McLeod trying to get loose, cuts it back into the secondary. Ray bouncing off people. A flag comes in late in the return as he's knocked down across the 40. This figures to cost Clemson good field position. But Lawrence, a guy that's been waiting to make plays like that, Kirk. We've seen the big fella battle that foot injury.
Yeah. During the return, personal foul, face mask, number 30, kicking team, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
So the penalty on Miami, and Clemson will begin in Hurricane territory after the face mask.
I don't know if
wow, they did that. That's not a face mask.
No.
They grabbed him in the front of the jersey.
Yeah.
Not a reviewable play, but incorrect call by this all-star ACC crew. Clemson set up at the Miami 44. For the Tigers, after the 19-yard return to the 15-yard penalty, trying to stretch their lead, setting up at the Miami 44. Feaster With a muscle for about 7. Take a look at the face mask that was called on Chad Thomas, number 9 here.
He hits the face mask and comes off of it. Dave Kataya is up here to help us out. Dave, what about when you hit a face mask like that?
There's 2 players that could do that, the runner and against the runner on contact to the face. There was no grab.
So in your view, no call there. They flip it out to Amari Rogers on the edge, and the true freshman shows his quickness, and they move to 6. Dave?
Yeah, no call there because it looks like a face mask, so you slow it down. He brushes it. It's not a blow. Therefore, against the runner, it's perfectly legal. Where he grabs is the shoulder pad under the face mask.
And not reviewable.
Correct.
Clemson playing quickly here. Play action. Bryant pump fakes, retreats, and now just chucks it into the bench. Did the ball even get back to the line of scrimmage? Jaquan Johnson on the safety blitz, and it was Cleveland Farrell, the defensive end, who made the big catch.
Yeah, Jaquan Johnson blitzes, and what prevented him from throwing it was the defensive end with that blitz. Joe Jackson ends up dropping out into the flat because he wanted to throw the ball to Richard. Took that away, and he was able to get outside of the pocket and just throw it away.
Barely outside the pocket. Ball didn't reach the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
There's a slant. Deion Kane makes the catch in heavy traffic. Sets up a 3rd and 4 now.
Kind of a quiet night for Deion Kane. Just his 2nd reception.
Yeah, Deion Kane's a guy, Kirk, that has more catches than last year, but a lot fewer yards and fewer touchdowns.
And he plays that infamous X position into the boundary where Nuke Hopkins has played that over the years. Martavius Bryant, Mike Williams last year. That is a big play position. They count on big plays downfield from that spot.
Difference is Kane is not as gifted going up and high pointing the football
and he's
as those
not
guys are.
He's not as tall and long as those guys.
Got to hurry here. The play clock is winding down. And as they always do, they're alert. And Dabo Swinney spends a timeout on the sideline to avoid the 5-yard penalty. So the Tigers, in their first possession after halftime, trying to build on this 21-point lead. Talk about it on 3rd down.
The 2017 Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game on ABC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave, and in part by the Lincoln Motor Company.
3rd and 5 for Clemson. They failed on their last 3 3rd down attempts after going 7 for 7 to start the game. Renfro's in the slot to the right. Busy tonight, 4 catches.
They've had more success on 3rd downs coming after Bryant than sitting back.
What Diaz chooses to do. Now they don't pressure him. It's only a 3-man rush. They spy the quarterback who's trying to make a whole bunch of guys miss. He can't, and he's swarmed for a sack. Amari Carter and Jaquan Johnson got there from the secondary.
Yeah, and they spied with Amari Carter. Watch him. He's down in a 3-point stance, but he's just kind of sitting down there disguising what his role is, which is in case Bryant does that, he's right there to take him out. It's a good call by Manny Diaz to use him, and then they leverage the football with the safety Johnson.
Field goals have been a problem. Alex Spence, his long this year is 30 yards. In fact, beyond 30, he's 1 for 6. This is right in the area where Dabo wasn't thinking about trying to field goal. You got to be alert for a fake here. You need 9 yards. Spence, this would be a big moment for him. Drives it and makes it from 46. A smile from Dabo. That department has been a nightmare for this team. Greg Hugel, the regular kicker, injured in practice. Spence tried to fill in. He's been so inconsistent in games. Dabo says now he makes him in practice. Yeah, but Dabo's son, Will Sweeney, holding the ball. That's the best kick of his life.
Oh, my God.
The upright there.
Hey, when it's your night, it's your night.
Exactly. The ultra-reliable Miami kicker misses his attempts, and the shaky Clemson guy knocks his through from 46.
And I'm glad we talked to Dabo about, where are you going to draw the line? Unless it's a game's on the line. Where's it? He said 30-yard line. We can decide at 30.
I didn't believe him, though. I really didn't.
He just gave him a shot. He said he makes them in practice.
Practice? Practice?
Yeah.
This is the bright lights of a conference championship game. I didn't give him much of a chance, but hey, take that. Spence knocks it through, and the lead is 24. Just a 16-yard drive in 6 plays. Miami at least able to prevent the 4th Tigers touchdown. Thomas. Bouncing off, guys. He's down at the 27. What a night for big number 42, Christian Wilkins, that interior line.
Yeah, he's been a dominating force on the inside. This front four really working in sync. But Wilkins has been freed up. Remember, he's going up against a true freshman in Donaldson right there, 55. And he's been able to shed him and get off of him, whether it's defending the run or getting up, being able to knock the ball down instinctively. Just a big night and also an inspiration. I mean, this guy, when it comes to the intangibles, provides such a lift for this Clemson defense.
So now the Canes' second possession of the second half. Rozier just 27 passing yards so far tonight on his 6 completions. Just nothing downfield without Richards in there. They had Thomas early, open on a post pattern, underthrown. They have not been able to create anything downfield.
Now, and Berrios only has 3 catches for 4 yards. You knew he had to pick up the slack tonight.
From the pocket, Rozier looks downfield and delivers his best throw. Thomas getting free, lost the football, and the Tigers have it. Dorian O'Daniel fell on the football, and the troubles continue for the Canes.
Ryan Carter, who is beaten on the play, soft coverage. He's the veteran back there, undersized, 31. But watch what he does. He gets beaten, he gets turned, but he doesn't give up on it. Watch his hand get in there like most defensive backs are taught. Get your hand on the football and knock it out. He's going to give up some yards. Instead of just pushing him out of bounds, he gets his hand right to that football, and there's his teammate O'Daniel picking it up for another Miami turnover.
Yeah, it's the first tonight for Miami. Only the 4th lost fumble all season long for the Canes. Just when Rozier finally generates something downfield, Thomas has the ball knocked free. And this Clemson offense again takes over in Miami territory. They have lived in plus territory tonight.
Again, with a sudden change like this, with a big lead, not shocking at all anytime they try to go downfield. Yeah, Deion Canes at the top.
And here comes the reverse. Ray McLeod, after all that eye candy and all that running, picks up 1 yard.
Kelly Bryant tried to pick up a block, but Miami, give him credit. Discipline that time. You saw that reaction from Manny Diaz at the bottom of your screen. He's trying to keep his team into this game and try to keep them competing. You know, Manny Diaz typically pretty mild-mannered on the sideline, but right now I think he's feeling that at 24-0, getting close to midway through the 3rd quarter, he's got to get this team play with some fire.
Bryant with some reserve receivers in the game, and the young freshman Etienne takes it in the flat, and he's knocked down at the 42. We're seeing this Miami defense, I think, still play.
They sure
a
are.
lot of fire and desire.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why Manny Diaz reacted the way he did, is staying and playing with some discipline there on that reverse.
Diaz on the near sidelines, you can see they bring up that tarp so that they can't see from the coach's box next to us. They can't see what he's signaling in, at least from this side.
Right. Another 3rd down here for Kelly Bryant.
Etienne is the back. They need 5.
There's that spy again right here.
Renfro not in the game this time. And Bryant from the pocket's going to be swallowed up and sacked. Joe Jackson, 6.5 sacks this season. Grabbed him.
It's a better job by the defensive line. Jackson's going to come around, but right here, again, a good job of using that spy, trying to take away the middle. Don't let him be able to step up. But Joe Jackson, who is the best pass rusher on this defensive line, and there's that energy I'm talking about from Manny Diaz. Just keep competing. Let's go.
It's a good job by Miami as the Tigers take over in plus territory following the fumble recovery, but go 3 and out. Spires again drops the point, kicks it high and short, and Berrios comes up to make the fair catch at the 16. Midway in the 3rd quarter, Rozier and the Canes still looking for their first scoring drive. Our Pacific Life game summary begins with Tigers' defensive dominance in the trenches. They forced 6 Miami punts, only allowed 4 Miami first downs, just whipping the offensive line, and then the fumble moments ago by Thomas. Just when it looked like Rozier might get something going. Bryant had plenty going early. He was 15 for his first 15 throwing the ball.
Yeah, he really got off to a great start and been able to do a lot of different things, not just throwing the ball, but early he was being able to run, make plays with his feet. Give Miami's defense and Manny Diaz credit for keeping them competitive and in this game instead of shutting it down.
Means from their 17 after an important stop by their defense. Rozier from the pocket delivers, and Barrios, that's the longest reception he's made so far tonight. First down to the 30.
We've been asking where is 8? Where he's the captain, he's the leader, makes a great move, and that's an advantage there against the safety Van Smith, who has cover ability. Ball a little late, but because he got great separation, he's still able to make the play.
The first down run up the middle there. Dexter Lawrence with the stop. Barrios, named last night here in Charlotte as the ACC's top scholar athlete, the Jim Tatum Award, and a candidate for the Campbell Trophy, the academic Heisman, which will be given out next week in New York City. 2nd and 8. Feed Homer again. It looked like he had nothing. He was able to break free for a short gain. Kendall Joseph grabbed him. 3rd down coming up.
That defensive line just taking that entire left side away. Homer was fortunate to keep his feet moving and able to find a little bit of room to give him a little bit of a better chance here on 3rd down.
And 3rd down, Kirk, once again for this offense continues to be a problem. Look, Clemson's great on 3rd down against most everybody, but Miami at 31% this year. Against FBS teams, they're 29% converting on 3rd down. That's awful.
And it's been a weakness for Miami all year.
I mean, they're 2 for 9 tonight. Look at the Tigers jumping around. Not even in the stance, and there's an interception off the deflection. Ryan Carter's got it off the hands of Darren Langham. Turnovers on back-to-back Miami possessions.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of running to the football. When you run to the football as an entire defense, there are tip balls, there are fumbles, things happen. Here's the route right here. He works to the outside. Ball goes actually through, just right through the hands of Langham. And there's Carter. It's a good throw by Rozier. He gets the ball out. Langham, who's stepping in for Richards tonight, one of the receivers to try to help with Richards being down. Ball goes right through his hands, and there's Ryan Carter and making another big play. Forced a fumble last series. This time comes up with the interception. Very fitting for a veteran guy that's been around in his 5th year now.
No doubt. He's a great story. But the 2 guys needing to step in for Richards have had turnovers now. Thomas and now Langham, and now Renfro goes back to work, finds a little open area, and makes a catch to the 40.
I thought Manny Diaz made a good point this week. One of the things he really admires about Clemson and Kelly Bryant is how patient they are. They kind of just pick at your secondary and your linebackers. They just take what the defense gives you, and that's a credit to Kelly Bryant, his vision and his decision making.
There's a pump fake, and now flips it back to Choice on a screen. Choice accelerates, barrels down inside the 30. Let's go to Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, there's no disputing all the attention the turnover chain has received. On Clemson's side, they simply said, according to Dabo Swinney, we're not that fancy. We just give each other a high five. But Swinney pointed out we've scored more points off turnovers this season than Miami has. That's proven to be key so far.
Dabo knows all the stats, doesn't he, Tom? Joyce takes off. Hard shot delivered by Jaquan Johnson. Flag is down on that left side. Miami, by the way, has won the turnover battle 9 straight games.
Offense number 74, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Came in plus 17, tied with UCF as tops in the FBS. They are -1 tonight. Couldn't afford that.
No, not at all. They had to be at least +2 tonight, I think, to have a chance. There's the hold right there with Simpson grabbing onto the jersey of R.J. McIntosh. I just cannot say enough about how cool it is to see how they rotate so many different bodies in at receiver and in at running back. And, you know, when you rotate that many guys, it gets guys to pay attention in practice and in meetings because they know they're going to play in the game.
Empty backfield. McLeod collects it and squirts free. Ray Still running. And scoots out at the 20. And the Tigers right back in the red zone again.
How fired up is Ray McCloud? A young man out of Tampa. Probably knows some of the guys that are playing from Miami tonight, but anytime you're from the state of Florida, he's able to somehow bobble that and then secure it, and then there's the acceleration. It's pulling away from Miami's defense. But Ray McCloud and Deion Kane, both from the state of Florida.
Not many guys from the South Florida, most of those guys from North Florida, but
yep.
Ray Kirk now has got 100 yards receiving tonight on his 6 catches. See if Clemson begins to slow things down, chew on some clock here as we approach the latter stages of the third quarter. Feaster goes in motion. They flip it to him. And Tavian Feaster knocked down near the 10.
Just relentless, Chris, with how they stretch you in so many different ways. And what that does is it makes a defense have to be accountable and have to be aware and have to respect that perimeter, whether it's a quick throw or it's a jet sweep to the outside. Then you go back to the inside and you run the ball. Then you go play action. And it's a really good job of mixing up a lot of different looks.
McCloud in motion again. They fake it to him and hand it to Feaster, who's hit right at the line. Make a good point. Different skill set for Bryant, right? But the astute adjustments, the play calling by Scott and Elliott to use the personnel they have on this team.
Yeah, it's a different way of attacking. You don't have Jordan Leggett. You don't have Mike Williams. Of course, you don't have Deshaun Watson. And yet, if you look at the numbers and how many yards they have, the points, it's right back where you'd expect them to be.
They spread the ball around, as you said. Bryant completing the ball to 10 different receivers tonight. Need a yard on third down. Long yard. And Feaster breaks free and scores. And the Tigers headed back to the college football playoff.
Just reading Chad Thomas off the edge. Stays a little wide. It's a give, read, and then physical running by Feaster. Remember, they're rotating 3 and 4 different backs in there. While this defense from Miami has had to defend up to 58 plays, because you're going up against Feaster and Etienne and Fuller and Choice, they're fresh and running hard.
A relentless wave of fresh tailbacks. Etienne has a touchdown. Choice has a touchdown. Feaster has a touchdown. Bryant's run for a touchdown. And the Tigers putting their big paw print on another ACC championship game, lead at 31-0. Clemson has stretched the lead, getting the offense cranked up. Their first touchdown since they had scored in their first 3 possessions. Spreading the wealth around. A deep team that arrives in the postseason not only with a bunch of experience and a championship pedigree, but much fresher at running back, at receiver, and on the offensive line. They play 8 offensive linemen.
Yeah, I think they played 25 guys that play 10 snaps or more on the offensive side alone.
Even our guy Brent Venables has been coaxed into using more guys on defense because the DC always wants to keep the starters out there as much as he can, right? Thomas from the 3. This time returns it to the left side. And will be knocked down across the 21. Cassidy Hebert for an important studio update.
Important, but Herbie, hate to be the bearer of bad news. Just wanted to give you an update on Jake and Ty Herbstreit in the Tennessee AAA State Championship. This is Montgomery Bell's 2nd touchdown, but they would fall to Brentwood Academy 28-14. Heck of a run for your boys. I know you're proud.
Oh
Cassidy,
man.
bad guys win there, Kirk.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. That's the 3rd time those 2 teams have met in a state championship. And Brentwood Academy, I think they're ranked like 6th in the country. They ended up winning their 3rd straight.
Jay Dallas in the Wildcat for Miami. Takes a look. He's a high school quarterback, by the way. Dances for a short gain as Mark Rick, desperate to get anything going, looks to a wrinkle here. Clemson was ready for it, though.
Yeah, anything that they could try to do right now. Obviously a different approach, different look for Mark Richt when you put.
Do it again. And Rozier was at the boundary, and this time a quick burst by DJ Dallas, who was a receiver, pressed into running back duty when Walton got injured. Nice game.
As you said, high school quarterback, wide receiver. And when he first got here, they had to move him over to tailback, so very familiar, knows what to do with the ball in his hands.
3 straight plays, and this is working. You know, Miami fans saying, where was this a little earlier, Coach Rick? We like this wrinkle.
Instead of a wrinkle, you just keep going with it. Now Rozier gets back into the lineup and actually lines up out at wide receiver.
He moves from the left side to the right side. 4th consecutive play with Dallas in the Wildcat. They bring Cager in motion. Flip it to Rozier. It's a flea flicker. Looking downfield. Barrios lays out. Can't get it. You know, the Tigers were all over it. He wasn't running free. Miami did all that stuff to get a deep shot. And the quarterback did what they coached him not to do. Couldn't put the ball in play.
Yeah, just misconnecting here. Great effort by Barrios.
I thought we might see more of this stuff early in the game, frankly. They didn't have the ball a lot.
No, and the game got out of hand pretty quickly.
But I thought they might go to some gadgets in the first half.
Yeah. I think as things got out of control, maybe some of those gadgets got put on the back burner.
And they need 4 yards here. As you're back at quarterback. And began batted down and intercepted. Running is Kendall Joseph. Finally tackled by the quarterback, but another Miami turnover. The 3rd in the half. It was deflected up front by Lawrence and picked off by Joseph.
Boy, Dexter Lawrence is having a football game. We've talked so much about Christian Wilkins, but it's the same approach. The big fella right here kind of works his way to the outside, and instead of getting to the quarterback, he takes a peek, works right there, little stunt, and then gets up right there at 6'4". And just like we saw in the last couple possessions, a Clemson defender in the right spot. Great deflection. Kendall Joseph with his eyes on the football, showing some athletic ability to be able to make that interception. And look at Brent Venables, got to be so excited with the way his defense is playing right now.
The last 3 Miami pass plays have resulted in turnovers. The fumble by Thomas and now 2 interceptions. The Tigers set up at the 13. Looking to stretch the lead before even the end of the 3rd quarter. Hurricane defensive coaches, Diaz trying to get their guys' attention here. Fuller loses the ball, and the Canes, instead of scooping it up and running with it, knock each other off of it. They do.
But they never had
signal Clemson possession. It's been that kind of a night.
Yeah, I think Sean Pollard, number 76, got on it. And the ball, at first you're thinking Miami, are they going to try to scoop and score? Then you're thinking, okay, somebody's got to try to at least get on top of the football. This ball's on the ground. You see 3 white jerseys all over it. Johnson, the safety, the middle linebacker.
Just ripped it out.
Yeah, 56 is there. They're fighting over it. Looks like Pinckney has it, 56, but the ball just stayed loose. And eventually it's Sean Pollard, the right tackle, who ends up pouncing on the ball.
Second time tonight they've not been able to recover a fumble. They had it. Now Kane, end zone, touchdown! "27 yards. And Kelly Bryant filling those big shoes. Different style, but executing every bit as well as Deshaun Watson did in these ACC championship games.
And that's the risk you take when you leave your corners on islands against Deion Kane and against these wide receivers on the perimeter. Eventually, Kelly Bryant's going to try to take a peek and take a shot downfield, and it's exactly what he did. After they were fortunate to pick up the fumble, Deion Kane just got isolated one-on-one with Malik Young. Undersized corner, but it's the matchup that's right out here. But I want you to watch the little move to the inside right there. And now Malik Young is done, and now it's just a matter of putting it up and giving Deion Kane a chance. But it was off the ball where Deion Kane made that move on Malik Young.
Well, they knew that against a team as good as Clemson, Miami had to take all their opportunities, make all the plays, a little luck, and the inability of Diaz's defense to recover a fumble that they should have had for the second time results in a Clemson touchdown.
keep saying this to you, it breaks, but every time I look at Kelly Bryant, I see Cam Newton. He's got that kind of look, the smile. One of the times at break, he looked up at the jet sky cam and just kind of smiled. He's wearing that number 2. He's playing at Cam Newton Stadium. Yeah. I don't know. He just has that Cam Newton flair to him.
Panthers on the road. Cam, of course, wearing number 1 now with the Panthers, but of course 2 in Auburn. That's a good comparison.
Got that look.
Again, different personality. Chilled, laid-back guy from a very small town about 50 minutes away from Clemson's campus. DJ Dallas will take a knee. Ricky talked in the open about Kelly Bryant's passing chart. Would he be able to create anything downfield? I think he has.
He sure has. You know, that last pass, of course, for the touchdown, but even working the left, he's kind of mixed up. Typically, I think 89% of his passes are to the left or to the right on the perimeter, and 85% are under 15 yards. So he's taken some shots, but you can see how they work that left side. 12 of 14 was some of the shorter throws. And again, a lot of times it's kind of an extension of their running game. It's about opening up other potential plays when they stretch you horizontally.
So 3 Miami turnovers in the second half have doomed them. Rozier going to be sacked. And they are just going backwards now. Clemson hungry. Backups in there just swarming. That's Albert Huggins, one of those backup tackles. You know, Bryant is a guy that has a great perspective. And part of the calm as a player, Kirk, he tells us, it comes from what he went through as a young guy. He's battled Crohn's disease since his freshman year of high school. Had a serious health scare. He was vomiting blood and had to have emergency surgery, a second operation in the spring and summer before his senior year of high school. Lost 50 pounds in the hospital, had to use a walker. Clemson didn't back off on their offer to him. We're glad about that.
Think about that for a second. Before your senior year.
Yeah.
That's crunch time for a lot of guys. I mean, that's where it's all in front of you, all your dreams, and to go through that.
He's talked about the fact that he had to wear a colostomy bag. He had to put it underneath the tux going to prom, and he had to wear it through spring practice. Now, the coaches let him go out and throw. He couldn't take contact, but imagine that, going through that, coming back having a senior year, and now stepping in and quarterbacking Clemson to an ACC championship.
And imagine Clemson sticking with him through all that.
They don't make many wrong moves. The end of 3 in Charlotte. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. It's all Tigers here. Christian Wilkins singing along to God Bless America after the end of the third quarter. Hit the high note, big fella.
Hey, when you're up 38-0, you're down there having a little bit of fun.
He belted that out with gusto. And he's played with a whole lot of gusto. A lot of the backups for Clemson's defensive front in the game. Wilkins getting a rest for the moment.
False start. Offense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
The Canes offensive lineman told me that they go against great D linemen in practice every day, that they would be ready for this Clemson challenge up front, that Clemson was just another team on their schedule, but it has not worked out that way. That's false bravado.
That's absolutely right. And you see the second unit, most of the second unit defense in. Keep in mind, there's still a shutout for Miami. And this first team defense takes a lot of pride in how this second unit goes into the game. You and I called a game earlier this year. Another one of these games where, so what else do you want to talk about here?
Talk show in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. And
they know that well.
And we just marveled at Wilkins, how he keeps the helmet on. He's talking to the guys on the field. And I think it was the game against Virginia Tech on the road in Blacksburg. And they take as much pride in that second unit doing well as they do themselves. I'd love to see that.
Eagles has been busy tonight and a little bit erratic. And now they put Amari Rogers. The young guys from Tennessee comes up, makes the fair catch. We saw the cut in of your son's game. Amari comes from Tennessee area.
Right.
Well, the score here not yet as bad as it was the last time these two teams met in October of 2015. Clemson players felt that Miami had talked a little trash before the game. They went out and dropped the bomb on them. This is a low point. This was the worst loss in Miami history. Kelly Bryant off the bench had a touchdown. Rozier threw a couple of interceptions. And that was the game that Al Golden was fired soon after. Miami legends were outraged on Twitter. Their fans were brawling. There's a change of quarterback, by the way. They brought in backup. Now we're going to get a look at Hunter Johnson, who's the true freshman who battled Bryant and Zara Cooper, briefly for the job. Bryant obviously winning it out, but Johnson's gotten a look at plenty of games. Clemson's won some lopsided games. To circle back to that loss, this is nothing like that Miami team that got routed, but
new regime trying to build the program up.
Rodgers collects it and is dropped at the 31.
This is kind of part of that growing process. It's kind of part of what Mark Richt has to experience with this group. I mean, they're going to continue to recruit, continue to build. Got a taste of this year, had a heck of a run.
They're recruiting nonstop, and they're recruiting this week. And Mark Richt's going to get home to South Florida about 4 o'clock in the morning with the charter, take a shower,
go
to the airport. He's going to be on a plane to Las Vegas to try to cement one of the guys who's been verbally committed to Miami already. But that's what you do. The early signing period of December 20, a new wrinkle this year for recruiters, is up the ante. Off the edge, Hunter Johnson spun around and sacked by Michael Jackson, the corner blitz for the Canes.
Yeah, I think you got a young quarterback, and game's out of reach right now. Jackson came, and it's just a side adjust. When you have a corner blitz, the receiver just turns and expects the ball, and young Hunter Johnson, you see his eyes to the right, receiver there to the left, anticipating getting that football, and it just never came.
Ran into the quarterback, appeared to have hurt his left shoulder. Jackson being looked at briefly by the trainers on that sidelines. The Tigers will punt. Yeah, recruiting, feeding the pipeline, it never stops. Clemson's coaches on the road weren't even at the walkthrough here yesterday because they're out trying to sign the next wave. Short punt. There he is. Rushes up to take it at the 43. 12:42 to go. We're going to talk playoff and big picture ahead in this final quarter.
Good.
The 2017 Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game on ABC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave, and in part by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific.
Clemson very close now to their third consecutive ACC championship. Looks like the drought for Miami will continue. Their last conference championship was back in 2003 in the Big East. They got a piece of it, even though Virginia Tech beat them head-to-head. And their last outright was the year before that, the 2002 team that had the long winning streak eventually snapped in the BCS championship game by Ohio State in the desert.
Yeah, I think they're definitely building back to that. I think Mark Richt, just his background there and as a player and really knowing what it takes, building a fence around South Florida high school football.
No doubt the recruiting class they're assembling very highly rated. This won't be the last time that Richt and the Canes are in the ACC championship game. Rozier rolling out, chased, and turns upfield and scoots into Clemson territory. First down at the 44.
I mean, you could probably make a case that this could be physically the least most talented team that Mark Richt will have if recruiting goes the way it looks like it's going to go based on this class that he's going to sign this year. And you assuming he continues to build, it's only going to put that foundation. It's going to make it stronger and stronger and stronger.
It's the first year they get back to the full 85 scholarships. The sanctions were devastating.
Absolutely.
Getting the new facilities. They have an indoor facility they hope to have online at the beginning of next season, which will help. Rozier delivers and into traffic, incomplete. A.J. Terrell, true freshman, was defending Langham.
I just love to see great coverage by corners because it's such a tough thing. It's a back shoulder fade, but watch Terrell right here. Watch him work. It's almost like he's playing basketball there with him. But instead of running downfield blindly, just thinking it's going to be a fade or a deep ball, he sensed that the receiver started to slow down and look back, expecting a back shoulder fade. He worked back with him.
Those backups in there still trying to protect the shutout. Rozier, no chance on the sideline to make a play. And he was knocked down by Chad Smith, the backup backer who came on the blitz there. Pacific Life game summary looking at this quarterback comparison. And Kelly Bryant started sharply, 15 for 15 to open this game. He's been an effective runner, and Rozier's just never gotten untracked.
Not at all. He's been able to run the ball 4 times, 22 yards and a touchdown. And it's been a tough night, tough couple games for this Miami offense. Last week against Pitt, we all thought, even despite the injuries, they might come out and have a little bit of spunk and have a chance to maybe make some plays through the air.
Got to hurry here. Just get it off, and from the pocket, Rozier delivers a high throw over the head of Barrios, who was open. And that was part of the problem in that Pitt game. Mark Richt kind of quietly said they counted them up. There were 12 open receivers that Rozier was not able to connect with. Missed another one right there.
Well, when Pat Narduzzi puts 7 or 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, leaves his corners on islands, and begs you to throw the ball, you got to throw. You got to execute to get them out of that coverage, and then you can go back to trying to run the ball. But Miami was never able to make them pay for that, and I think we've seen some of the same tonight with what Clemson's done.
New punter for Miami, Jack Spicer, who's the holder, comes on to spell Fiegels, and ugly looking punt, but it's going to be effective. The roll dead down at the 10. 11:37 to go. Curtis Wilson piloting the All-State, all-hands-in bus here to Charlotte. All year long, they've been helping us find great teamwork in the community. Kirk, who's the team of the week?
Well, the team of the week this week, all hands in. We do it every single Saturday night. UCF and Scott Frost. What a game. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. 62-55. We expected a shootout, double overtime. American Athletic Conference champs. That's their first outright. And
how many lead changes?
Look at that. 0-12
changes in that game.
0-12 and 15 to going 13-0 this year.
Zarek Cooper, the third Clemson quarterback of the night. He gets a turn and hands the ball to Fuller. They drew 74,372. Second most in ACC title game history. Nice big crowd. Miami brought a bunch of them. Some of them have hung around, but Clemson's fans still over there on their feet, savoring another huge postseason performance by their team. This is Fuller knocked down at the 11. Dabo Swinney, we talked yesterday. The expectation, of course, Clemson wins, they're going to hold that top seed, and the top seed in the playoff gets the geographically favorable semifinal. That's the Superdome. Now, Dabo and his Alabama teammates beat Miami from the national title in the Superdome 92 season. He had not been back to New Orleans since then until he accompanied Deshaun Watson to New Orleans for a Manning Award. He found out as the car pulled in, the event was in the Superdome. Cooper back to pass, lofts it downfield, a shoving match. Higgins not able to come up with a catch. He kind of gave the DB a shove. There is no flag, but Dabo pulls into the Superdome. So excited to be back there. The memories start flooding back.
Hadn't been there since January of '93.
So he takes his phone out, takes pictures, goes back to Clemson in the spring, says, guys, I've seen it. The Superdome. I won a championship. That's our destination. That's where we're going to be in the semifinal. Looks like it's going to be pretty prophetic.
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me of when Mark D'Antonio took pictures of the Rose Bowl and went back to East Lansing and said, guys, this is the goal. But for him, being a player on that Alabama team to beat Miami in the 92 season, and to take it back and say, hey, fellas, this is the goal, top seed. This is where the top seed goes. They're going to get that chance.
Keep in mind, the top seed has not yet won college football playoff in the first 3 years. None of the top seeds were able to complete the mission, but that's another talk for another day. Miami back to work. Clemson 10-24 away from another trophy. A reminder that Star Wars: The Last Jedi is in theaters on December 15th. Back here on Earth in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You a Star Wars guy?
Tigers up 38-0. Who isn't a Star Wars guy?
Yeah, I am too.
Of course. Yeah.
We took in the premiere a couple years ago.
Still talking about that. Every single time I mention the new movie,
cool.
You harken back to that. It was a fun
Han Solo was like 10 feet away from us.
Guy Matthew McConaughey. It was a star-studded event.
It was awesome. I'm counting the days down myself. I love it.
Rozier and the Canes now just about Pride trying to avoid the shutout. Thomas on the end around. Nothing doing. He's given a shove out of bounds as we check in with Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Chris. Things are getting real interesting in Indy at the Big Ten Championship. Chris James, 1 yard TD run, still waiting on the point after due to some field issues, but it's 24-19 Ohio State in the fourth. Back to you guys.
Yeah, they're having some field issues, to say the least. They're trying to dig up some of that field turf. You get the rubber pellets all over the place. You're not suggesting that that's a more dramatic game in Indy than what we have here. I mean, we would never suggest that.
They're having field issues in Indy, and we're having clock issues here. For some reason, this thing just won't keep moving.
Is it counting upwards?
I think it's going up. I think it's heading north.
Woo! Rozier harassed again, chased and sacked one more time as the backups for this defense. That's a third-team tackle. Big Sterling Johnson making a play.
I'm looking over at Christian Wilkins on the other 50. He's more excited than the sack. I mean, than the guy that came up with the sack. I love to see this energy. The way Dabo Swinney and Brent Venables treat their second-team guys. They get as many reps in practice. They're treated as first-team guys. So when they get in, there's no let-up. The expectation is to keep playing at that same standard.
They're coming in fresh and intense, and they are whipping this Miami offensive line. Sets up a 3rd and 15. Rozier steps up this time and delivers just behind Thomas. The passing game execution has just been a nightmare tonight for Miami. All phases of it, would you say? Everything. Yeah. Protection, throwing, catching.
Yeah, it's been a rough go round. They continue to work on it though. They're continuing to throw the ball.
11 of 26 for 77 yards. Fiegels, the punter, got so worn out they've gone to Spicer now. And here's his second punt.
Oh, that's a beauty there, Chris. I know you didn't like the last one.
But it bounces into the end zone. I'm trying to hold on here, big fella. Don't get me going. The College Football Playoff Rankings brought to you by AT&T. And Georgia will zoom from number 6 up into the Final Four as they knocked out Auburn. Tough. Auburn have to play a rematch of their win at home in the Bulldogs' backyard, and it was emphatic.
Yeah, it sure was. Congratulations to Georgia and Oklahoma, and now Clemson. Clemson will be, in my opinion, they're going to be at 1. You're going to have Oklahoma at 2. No matter what happens with Wisconsin, pretty good chance you could see Georgia move up into the top 3, and we'll see if Wisconsin is able to come back and knock off Ohio State. 12.5 minutes to go in that game.
Here's a handoff in a short game. I think the intriguing thing is going to be the seedings. You would put Oklahoma seeded number 2.
I would.
After this Clemson team.
Yes.
Georgia at 3, and then whatever happens after that, whether it's
Well, if Wisconsin wins,
coming
it's
back
clearly Wisconsin.
You'd still put Wisconsin undefeated if they come back to win the game under.
Yeah, I would.
The other 3 teams.
If you're asking, okay. I mean, I don't know what the committee's going to do, but I would. And then if Wisconsin loses, then you got an Ohio State-Alabama debate.
C.J. Fuller takes a handoff from Hunter Johnson, who's back in the game.
And I think when you have an Ohio State, if Ohio State beats Wisconsin, the Ohio State-Alabama debate, on paper, if you look at Ohio State 3 wins that are in the top 16, maybe 2 of those in the top 10, they'd be a conference champion. Alabama didn't go to the SEC, but the committee is going to look at Ohio State and Alabama if they say Alabama is a better team. Because I think Alabama is, if you watch Ohio State again tonight, you watch how Alabama's played throughout the year, committee very easily could just say Alabama's better, and then therefore still put Alabama in over Ohio State.
More on that in a second as Johnson drops back, delivers incomplete. Now, the mantra's always been the best 4, the best 4, the best 4, not the most deserving 4. But you look at resumes, things that you can tangibly line up and you compare teams, and that goes to most deserving. And Ohio State would have a better resume than Alabama. So
they would.
When those 2 teams are debated,
well, you're
going to have 3 different recusals. 3 different people are going to have to leave the room.
Yeah.
And it's going to be decided by the other 10 if it comes down to a debate of those teams. And Ohio State has to hang on to make that the case.
Yeah, they got to win the game. But it's an interesting way of putting it. Most deserving or best. I've always been a big believer. I'd love to see the 4 best teams in the playoffs.
It's a low punt, scoots along the ground, hits a Clemson player. It did not touch a Miami player, did it? I don't think so. Are they signaling that it touched a Miami player?
Yeah, it did. It hit Malik Young.
Oh, Malik Young has had a tough night. He's the guy that failed to come up with the fumble. He was beaten in a touchdown by Kane, and now it may have touched him. They can review this to see if, in fact, it did.
It looked like it hit his leg.
Oh, just between the legs. Did it graze a leg on the way by before it hit a Clemson player? We'll bring in Dave Kataya. Let's take a look It went between the legs. Yeah, it did just touch him.
Yep.
Just touched in the hamstring. Those kind of low punts are really designed to create this kind of havoc.
Yeah, you could see there for sure it hit him.
The kicking team blocked a member of the receiving team into the ball. By rule, the touching is ignored. First down for receiving team.
So Jeff Flanagan explaining that Clemson player pushed Young into the path of the ball. So Dave, there is no turnover there.
The interesting thing is, if the officials on the field rule that the player was blocked into the touch, that part is not reviewable. The only part that's reviewable is whether the ball was touched on it. But if they rule being blocked into it, then the touching's immaterial because by rule it didn't occur.
Well explained, Dave. We appreciate that you're hanging in there, showing that focus and the intensity deep in the fourth quarter here for us, as you have all season long.
7:34, Davey.
Gotcha, boss.
What you'd give Herbstreit for a running play here, or a completion inbounds,
or an arena clock.
Throw to the edge. Berrios, in his home state, has just not had the kind of night that he'd hoped to have. He was well guarded by the Tigers early, just able to create very little beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and think of the big games they had a couple weeks ago, Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. He was a big play guy and really a guy that helped provide a spark for their offense. We thought we might see more of that, especially with Richards not in there and Herndon not in there.
Short gain for DJ Dallas. I don't know if you have Herndon in, if you have Richards in, if you have Walton in. It's hypothetical. We'll never know the answer. But the way Clemson has executed offensively tonight and been so strong in the trenches, wouldn't have made any difference.
But I think it's worth saying, for a team that's still rebuilding, you take your three best offensive players off your lineup. That's a big hit. I don't know. I mean, with the quarterback play they have right now, I don't think it would have probably mattered. But still, that's a big hit, especially for this team. You know, Clemson loses three great players. They've got another 7 or 8 or 9 to go to. Miami doesn't have that.
No, as you said, though, recruiting well, building depth. I think you're going to see subsequent Kane teams under Mark Richt have a lot more talent and depth than this one does. Dallas works free. DJ Dallas, first down at the 37-yard line. In Miami, would love to get that goose egg off the board. That 58-0 we showed you a couple of years ago, which was the low point, the home loss, Golden's final game. It's been a much different kind of a game and a more competitive Miami team, but they would love to get the ball in the end zone. Finally break that.
Well, and they're trying to get the ball in the end zone, and Clemson's trying to take pride in having a shutout here.
Algier looking over the middle. Berrios has got it down at the 15, and the Canes are in the red zone. First time tonight.
Let's take a look at Rocket, the camera Rocket here. He works into the middle of this defense. Gives you a different perspective there. You see the quarterback and the offense coming at you.
And another play made on the far side by Berrios is wrestled down inside the 10. Gets up kind of limping. They came in down a few men with injuries, and they've had guys nicked up almost from the first series, mostly on the defensive side. And Berrios struggling. He'll apparently stay in the game. He is not looking 100%. He's in the right slot, 2nd and 4. Clemson fans making noise here. Homer around left end, knocked down short of the marker. The Tigers band, which is down there, the fans in that end zone, they're also trying to join in this defense and protect this shutout. Third and 1. Homer picks his way. Knocked down right near the line.
He's right on that line, isn't he? Oh, they're coming out to kick a field goal.
Wow. They only need half a yard. You think that shutout doesn't mean something? I got to tell you, you got to be kidding me. Badgley, who can inch closer to Miami's career scoring record, he can get within 2 points of Burks' record. He converts from 22. And Miami on the board with a 3 spot. Okay. Look at the progressive pylon cam. Kelly Bryant scooting right past it for that rushing touchdown in the first half. Good look at the Kane special teams making a play. And then Deion Kane with his touchdown catch. Cool to have that angle all season long. I don't know, Mark Richt, I mean, they needed about a half yard on 4th down. I'm the kicker for a chip shot.
I was pretty surprised by that.
Shows you how badly they did not want to get shut out. Cornell Powell taking a kick return for Clemson, and he's knocked down at the 25. Well, at noon Eastern time, the 4-hour selection show will begin. The exclusive unveil of the final playoff committee rankings, who's in, who's not, plus a look at all the other New Year's 6 bowl games. You'll visit with coaches. Kirby Hoka, the chairman of the selection committee. Never had 2 teams from the same conference in the same year. That would end if Alabama finds a way in. Should Ohio State hold on to that 3-point lead over Wisconsin? 2-loss team. No, Clemson's not a 2-loss team. Oklahoma's not a 2-loss team. Georgia's not a 2-loss team. So far, that hasn't happened. And the ball off to C.J. Fuller. New Year's Day, the 2 semifinals. The Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual. And the All-State Sugar Bowl in the Superdome to follow that, with Clemson as the presumed top seed heading down to New Orleans to take on the number 4 seed. And that'll be a conversation that will go on in the committee room. Who deserves the 4 seed? Who should be in the 2-3 game? Is it Oklahoma against Georgia, perhaps in Pasadena?
That's what I think. I think you're going to have Oklahoma, Georgia out at the Rose Bowl this year, and Clemson either against Wisconsin if they end up winning, or Ohio State or Alabama.
Feed Fuller, knocked down at the 30. Here in this ball game, Miami just not able to overcome the early mistakes and missed opportunities. Clemson came out extremely sharp, scored touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. Miami unable to cash in the early muffed punt, the missed field goal, the missed downfield opportunity. The fumble they could have recovered that Malik Young couldn't come up with. It happened again in the second half. And as an underdog playing shorthanded, needed to make every play, needed some good fortune, perhaps needed some help from Clemson, and they didn't get any of that.
No.
Fuller being looked at by the athletic training staff. ESPN3.com is the place to go for live coverage of the trophy ceremony. We expect that most of those who would stay tuned for that would be Clemson fans wanting to see Dabo and the Tigers raise yet another trophy.
You know, Chris, I'm just looking over the stats, and it's crazy to look 38-3, and the game got out of control pretty early, but only 68 yards rushing for Clemson tonight, 248 yards through the air.
Goes against what they've done all season long. It looked more like last year's offense.
Yeah.
Cooper a slant in traffic. He just delivers a little dart. And coming up to make the catch is T.J. Chase, freshman. The Dr. Pepper Unrivaled Player of the game is Kelly Bryant, quarterback. Building into the
that was like the bus when they blew up the Georgia Dome.
There they go. There we get a good
that
look
was
at
beautiful.
The man who completed his first 15 passes tonight, ran for a touchdown. He said he didn't have to duplicate Deshaun Watson's gaudy stats in these postseason games, but he came pretty darn close.
I'm telling you, he is Cam Newton's swag. The big smile.
Less baggage.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm not saying. I'm just saying his look. We got the towel. You got. I'm talking about at Auburn, the number 2. Remember when Cam was at Auburn? He had always had a big smile.
Kelly's got to get out from behind those signs. We're trying to give him some love, and you got everything in the world over there. Crying, crying emojis and all kind of stuff on the signs.
I think Tupac was even up on the board, wasn't he?
And everybody. What is the Tupac play?
Going deep. Gets 6 on the board.
Final minute here, Mr. Herbstreit in Charlotte. When you're talking about Tupac, I know it's time to turn out the lights. I just. Well, Cassidy will be along with the Ford wrap-up show right after the game. She'll update those of you clinging with us here what's going on in Indy, and the playoff discussion that will begin. I'm sure you will be on SportsCenter. We'll kick it around after that. Clemson going to claim another ACC crown, and the defending champs will be very difficult to dethrone in the playoff.
They're going to get him. They're going to get him.
Bryant and Farrell, 2 big defensive ends.
And he's got the nice white sweatshirt on, too. This is going to look good. Oh, yeah, you got him. Oh, Wilkins is going to get in on it, too. Oh, you got a good shot here. Go for it, guys. Right now. Go get it.
Your break.
Go get it.
Your break.
Go get it.
Quick.
Hurry. Go get it before he starts jogging.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
They got him real good. Gatorade bath. A whole lot of big hugs. And Dabo Sweeney consoling Mark Rick. 2 guys that have a lot in common. They are just decent to the core. For Dabo's team, way too good.
Mark Rick's saying you got a great team. Maybe one of these days we'll catch up to you.
Now Dabo freshly doused that nice wet white sweatshirt colored orange now as we send it down to Tom Rinaldi.
Dabo, I have a feeling you don't mind that dousing and you like the color orange too. After you lose an iconic quarterback, 3/4 of your offensive production from a season ago, you win another conference title. How do you do it?
Well, good Lord, that's all I can tell you. God has blessed me to be with a place like Clemson with a bunch of great young men that believe and buy in and show up, a great staff. And it's just a blessing. 29 years since we've won it 3 times in a row. And, we've talked, let's go win that Triple Crown, man. And, to see these guys today, kind of in that final leg of what we talked about for the ACC, man, they finished strong today. And I'm really proud of them. Great to see the turnovers on the Clemson side. And but let me tell you, hats off to Miami. I think the world of Coach Rick, and what a job they've done this year. It was just our time tonight, and we're going to celebrate and enjoy this one.
We talked earlier this week, just 6 scholarship seniors on this roster. What did they prove to you tonight through the journey of this season?
Well, this was their 50th win, which is an ACC record. That's the most wins forever for an ACC senior class, and they're just a bunch of funky old dogs, Ryan Carter, Greenlee, Crowder, Maverick Morris, Marcus Edmond. Nobody knows who them guys are. But, man, they're some ballers. They are some ballers, some true 31. How about Ryan Carter tonight? 1-star recruit. And, he was unbelievable tonight. So, hey, I'm so happy for those seniors. 3 ACC championships, 3 playoffs in a row, and their 50th career win. Just incredible. Proud of them.
Finally, you said when you got here you wanted most to build a standard of consistency. What are you building?
Exactly that. We're a program that feels like they got a chance every year. But the biggest thing is, you got to think the right way. And we got a bunch of young people that just choose to think the right way. They truly believe week in and week out, and they focus on themselves. It's an inside focus. You got to win on the inside before you ever blossom and win on the outside. And that's the epitome and the heart of our team shining through tonight.
Congratulations. Go get dry, Dabo.
Thank you. God bless.
Let's go to Maria.
Thank you so much, Tom, here with Christian Wilkins. And you guys don't have turnover chains, but you do give high fives after you get turnovers, and you had 3 of them in this game. What was the mentality of the defense coming into this one?
We just knew, we had to be dominant. We had to be physical. We knew we had to win the turnover margin. We know they're a team that, forces a lot of turnovers and everything like that. And we know if our offense took care of the ball and we forced a few turnovers, man, we'd be in position to win it. But definitely a lot of respect for Miami because, we didn't expect to do this tonight. They're a good team. They played great all year. The U is back, you know what I'm saying? So, they didn't make it easy on us, just preparation and everything, get ready for those guys. But definitely had a lot of fun out here tonight.
Your coach said you guys talked about winning the Triple Crown, 3 straight ACC championships. What was the statement you were looking to come out here and make?
Yeah, like you said, just make a statement. Just be who we are. We didn't have to play perfect. We just got to be Clemson. This is a part of our DNA. This is what we do. I'm so happy this is my 3rd straight. It's something remarkable. I definitely don't take it lightly because it's something great to do, something great to accomplish. I mean, every time, you can win a championship and everything like that. Appreciate you, Kello. But yeah, definitely.
All right, well, your friend's back, Kelly Bryant. Thank you so much for showing up. He ran away from the post-game interview. How does it feel? At every single level, you have matched the intensity. You have not let a drop-off happen here as you stepped into Deshaun Watson's footsteps. What does it mean to win the 3rd straight ACC championship with your Clemson Tigers?
Well, just like you said, ACC, another Clemson championship. We knew what was on the line tonight. You got to give credit to Miami. They're a great team. But, we wanted more. It was a great team showing. I'm just happy to come out on top. So I'm a little tired.
You're tired from running back and forth and giving high fives to fans. You weren't tired when this game started, though. Right. You completed 15 straight passes. I mean, what was working early in this game for you?
We're just in a rhythm. Everybody, the offensive line was blocking good. Receivers, running back, we were all on the same page. We were clicking. We was playing Clemson football.
Clemson football, and coaches said that you guys were coming in here wanting to win your 3rd straight title. I mean, what was the focus that you had coming out?
It was just a Zoom focus to get the job done. We wanted to finish strong, and that's what we did.
Thanks for your time, Kelly. Congrats.
Thank y'all. Just being Kelly B.
Just being Kelly B. That's plenty good enough, Maria. 17th ACC title for Clemson. It's their 4th in the last 7 years. Dabo delivering one in 2011 when Taj Boyd was a first-year starter, like Bryant winning a conference championship. And it's a team that we spotted it from the beginning. They know how to play when the orange britches go on and it's a big game and a postseason game. They just click into that mode.
No doubt about it. And I don't think Miami was ready for what they were going to face tonight. They thought they were. They were excited. They were motivated. But you got to give Clemson and the offensive staff a lot of credit. He just used the word that I talked about in that first half, rhythm. Kelly Bryant was in command. He was decisive with every decision he made. 15 of 15 to start a game. The defense is forcing 3 and out. It's a pretty good recipe to be able to pull away. They were up 14 just like that. Never looked back.
A couple years ago, they had the big pizza party to celebrate going into the playoff. No party necessary. It's just business as usual for Clemson. Next up is the Superdome as the almost certain top seed in the college football playoff. Who can dethrone this team? 38-3, Clemson over Miami. Our game was produced by Bill Bunnell, directed by Derek Mobley. We appreciate the hard work of everyone here in the booth and our entire crew. We've enjoyed being with you all week or all year long here on ABC and ESPN. We'll see it in the semifinals on New Year's Day. The postgame ceremony up on ESPN3 for a wrap-up right now with Cassidy Hubbard.